this one by Mike Nelms. And while the Redskins fought their way out of a hole, the Colts, after winning their opening game, have been sinking deeper into one. They've lost 13 straight. There's dissension, some say, caused by quarterback Burt Jones, who will probably be playing with a different team next year. But the Redskins are worried about their game with the Colts today. Why? Because the Colts have won 15 of the 19 previous meetings, and Burt Jones has never lost to the Redskins. This is RFK Stadium. It's cold, but the sun is out here in Washington this afternoon as the backyard brawl is about ready to take place between the Colts and the Redskins. Hi, I'm Merle Harmon with Mike Haffner. Mike, you played with winners and you played with losers. The Colts are losers. What's it like?
Well, you play the game from the neck up, really. Everybody's got talent, and the Colts will go out on the field with the adrenaline pump. They'll be ready to play. The problem is the first bad break that goes against them, they'll quit first before the Redskins will, because they're winners now.
If they lose the next two, they'll tie a record set by New Orleans a year ago. The kickoff coming up right after this. Afternoon in Washington, and Mike Wood is back ready to kick it away for the Baltimore Colts, who are 1-13 for the year. The Washington Redskins have Mike Nelms, a real burner, back deep for the return, and here we go. It may go to Wansley's side, but Nelms steps in front of him. Nelms knocked down on the 25-yard line. Ricky Jones, number 51, a linebacker, making the tackle for the Baltimore Colts. Joe Theismann will be at quarterback. Joe Washington, the running back. The Redskins will operate with 4 receivers, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers. Watch Art Monk. He can really turn it on. We did have a flag on the kickoff. We'll see what that's about in a moment. The interior line, Jacoby, Graham Bostic, Jones, and Stark. Stark, an 8-year starter, will anchor the right side of the line. And Jim Tunney will walk off a penalty.
Illegal block in the back, number 56, during the run back, 10 yards, first down.
Today's officials headed by Jim Tunney. Pat Harder, the great former All-Pro, has been officiating now for 16, 17 years. Here we go, Theismann at quarterback. And in motion is the big tight end, Rick Walker. Joe Washington, the ex-Colt, still on his feet, still moving, and he breaks it out to the 35, the 36-yard line. Herb Orvis, number 88, on the stop as Joe Washington, who's become the MVP for the Redskins, gets him out of the hole.
You know, Merle, I talked before the game to Don McCauley, the fine running back for Baltimore, and he said, one of the guys we really miss is this guy right here. He now plays for the Redskins. Joe Washington is one of the best pass receivers out of the backfield that this game has ever seen. And right away, he gets his old teammates, the Colts, and stuffs them with a big, long gain.
He got 23 yards out of that one. Warren, the tight end, in motion. Theismann to Warren, right back over the middle, incomplete on the 40-yard line. The coverage by Bruce Laird, number 40, the strong safety. Krause, 55, the linebacker. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Thompson, Orvis, Fultz, and Ozdowski, and Fultz is starting in place of Bubba Green, the fine rookie from North Carolina State. The linebackers, Ed Smith in place of Joe Spitterspiel in the middle, Shivers and Krause on the outside. And the secondary, the deep backs, Bruce Laird, the 10-year veteran, is the big man back there. 2nd and 10. Theismann going for it all, and it's incomplete. Intended for Terry Metcalf, who has become a wide receiver. Reggie Pinckney, 37, at the coverage on the play. And Metcalf was out there, but it was just a little bit too long for him.
Terry Metcalf, everyone will remember when he was at St. Louis, the great running back, went up to Canada. But there's a tradition here in Washington. A guy named Bobby Mitchell came from Cleveland, who was a running back. They moved him out to wide receiver, and I don't think Washington fans will ever forget him. And Metcalf now, in his later years in football, may have found himself a spot that will prolong his career, Merle, by playing wide receiver.
Fetterspiel is now in as a linebacker for Baltimore. It's 3rd down 10. Theismann, this time he's got Metcalf. And Metcalf across midfield to the 48, down to the 47, brought down by Reggie Pinckney. the strong safety. So Metcalf, who has caught 42 passes for 526 yards going into the game today, picks up a biggie there.
One of the big things about a back making an adjustment to wide receiver is how to beat the cornerback. And all he's got to do is remember to get open. All he has to do is make the same moves he used to do to get around cornerbacks on sweeps. Metcalf, with his receptions this year, obviously has made the adjustment.
Theismann got 17 on that one. He needs 1 yard to break the 3,000 mark as Walker goes in motion. And this time it is Joe Washington down to the 40-yard line. Vettersfield, 50, the middle linebacker, the 10-year veteran from Kentucky, making the tackle. I think I said Washington was in motion. It was Walker, the tight end, number 88, as we look at Joe Washington and what he has accomplished this year. An all-purpose back. He leads the Redskins in rushing, 747 yards. He leads them in pass catching, 478 yards. That's all-purpose.
Yes, he could do it all. He could return punts and kickoffs if they didn't have Mike Nelms, and he's probably one of the best in all of football now.
After an 8-yard pickup, second down 2 for Theismann. Monk in the slot right, Walker in motion. Joe Washington down to the 35, and he's got a first down. Green, 91, the tackle, the rookie from North Carolina State, and Mike Ozdowski, the defensive right end, a 4-year veteran from Virginia, stopping the play after a 4-yard pickup.
Look at that. That's quite a matchup, Merle. 15-4, and believe me, this game is played from the neck up. Both these teams know who's got the edge. The Redskins would like to bump it up a bit, and Baltimore, obviously, at 1-13, would like to keep that record going.
That's one of the things that we alluded to a little while ago about the Redskins worrying about the Colts, even though they have lost 13 games in a row. Draw to Washington, and the Colts read it. He's dropped to the 39. Herb Orvis, number 88, out of the University of Colorado, a 10-year veteran, and Barry Krause, 55, the right linebacker from Alabama, who keeps right on improving. Stop it.
One of the things Joe Theismann will want to do today to the Colt defense is attack the linebacker position. Barry Krause has moved around. He's been an outside. He's been inside. They've picked up Fetterspiel from New Orleans. They played Ed Smith in there. Shiver's really the only one that's been stable over the years. And if you don't have linebacking in the NFL, you can't stop today's offenses. And I'm sure Theismann's going after him right away.
John Riggins is now in at fullback. And Metcalf is the man in motion after a loss of 3, 2nd and 13. Theismann's got his man, Virgil C., and the Redskins take the lead.
Blew the coverage, Merle. Somebody made a mistake in the Colt backfield.
And so the Redskins draw first blood in this one. Virgil C. with his 2nd touchdown. He's a first-year man, or he has had a partial year out of Troy State.
These are the kind of routes I'd like to run when I was playing. Some defensive back forgot all about number 80 and let him go. Look at how wide open Virgil Say is. Number 80 just turns around and walks into the end zone without a blue shirt within 20 yards.
Mosley adds the extra point of the Redskins. Jump to the lead here in the first quarter. We've played less than 4 minutes, really. 11:08 to go in the first period. Of the Redskins have broken on top, leading by a score of 7-0. And we'll return after this.
The fact that there isn't a blue jersey within 10 yards of him. And that was an error in the backfield. I think Hatchett moved up in zone, and it was supposed to be Bruce Laird that took that deep third, and he wasn't anywhere to be found. He blew the coverage, and those kind you dream about.
And what were you saying about what might happen to the Colts if the Redskins jump them early?
There's that mental attitude, that one breakdown. Now they say, why should we play?
Zachary Dixon from the 6. Down at the 15. And the Redskins are really cranked up as Darrell Grant downfield to make the tackle after a 9-yard return.
One of the things you can see about mental attitude and that approach to 1-13 by the Colts. On the kickoff, they went down, covered well, did really well. Now they come back and don't return well, and you know they're down.
Dickey and McMillan may be the fastest tandem of backs in the National Football League. And the wide receivers, they can burn you too, with Reese McCall, the tight end, to target over the middle. And the line anchored by Ray Donaldson at center. And Burt Jones at quarterback, 9 years out of LSU. Curtis Dickey to about the 18, and Pete Cronin, 54, substituting for Olkowitz as the middle linebacker, makes the stop on that one. Mendenhall, Butts, Brooks, and Manley. Butts at 295 pounds, and Cronin playing the middle linebacker spot today, and you can look for great work from Dusick outside. And Colvin on the other side. He had a touchdown last week. The defensive secondary, Mark Murphy has 6 interceptions and 4 fumble recoveries. After a gain of 3, 2nd and 7, as Mike McCormick hopes that his offense can move it. Curtis Dickey again at the 20. Tony Peters, 23, the strong safety up to make the hit on the 20-yard line. It is 3rd down 4. Don McCauley comes in, and guess what happens next?
Yes, on 3rd down, Don McCauley comes in. Everybody in the stadium knows Bert's going to look for him first. And it's up to McCauley to beat a linebacker and get the 7-8 yards he needs for a first down. And he's done it year after year after year, and everybody knows it's coming.
He's carried the ball 10 times this year, caught 31 passes. Here we go. Roger Carr for a first down near the 30-yard line, and Jarvis White, 45, the left quarterback out of Hawaii, who's playing on a chilly day here in Washington, makes the hit after a 10-yard gain and a first down by Roger Carr, who has now caught 33 passes for 480 yards.
Watch on this replay. You won't see a linebacker anywhere, and that's why the underneath pattern works. McCauley stayed in to block, but he kept all the linebackers frozen. They're all waiting for him to come out of the backfield. That leaves Carr wide open over the middle for that crossing pattern. A nice call by Bert Jones.
Randy McMillan, 32, the rookie from Pittsburgh, now at the fullback spot. Dickey, the tailback. This is McMillan. McMillan bangs his way to the 34. And Pete Cronin, the 4-year veteran linebacker from Boston College, who was obtained from Seattle just 4 weeks ago, makes the hit on that one. The gain of 4, 2nd down 6 coming up. Randy McMillan, 502 yards rushing, 414 yards pass receiving, so you know Jones likes to throw to his backs.
And what an opening game he had, well over 100 yards. You know, this Colt club has tremendous offensive talent.
But what's wrong with them?
The problem is, right now, you see it, they're down 7-0. You got to throw out the game plan and try and catch up again. And this drive's very important to them, Merle. If they don't get something out of this, they could go right straight downhill all day.
Jones hits the tight end McCall. Big first down into Washington territory. Second effort gets him 7 extra yards. Brad Dusick, 59, the linebacker. Mark Murphy, the free safety, had to pull down big Reese McCall, who pulls in his 19th reception of the year.
One of the things about a free safety, you must make interceptions, those kinds that are overthrown. You must look for the fumble recoveries because you're the last man up. The most important thing is that you must be a sure tackler, because when those guys break into the secondary, it's the safeties who make the tackles. The cornerbacks are occupied by their wide receivers.
28 yards on the pass to McCall. Screen to Carr. Carr inside the 30 is knocked out of bounds in the 27 by Jarvis White, the cornerback. Roger Carr may have the first down. Mike McCormick, he's got something to look forward to right now if his team can keep moving it. Roger Carr, the 8-year veteran from Louisiana Tech, with 29 career touchdowns, 3 this year.
I had a long talk with Roger last night. We were staying in the same hotel with them, and it's amazing how he can keep himself together in a 1-13 season and still be positive. But he's a great receiver, Merle, and he can really handle it.
Now it is Butler in motion. And hit behind the line is McMillan as big 240-pound Dexter Manley at 6'3", 240. The defensive right end. He got a hold of McMillan, and let's see where they mark his progress.
What a unique athlete Manley is. You know, he covers punts as the outside guy. Usually they use a wide receiver there, not a defensive end. He's really quick.
He does a 4.5 40.
Yes.
A loss of 3, 2nd and 13. Carr is split to the left, Butler to the right.
Now he's found Carr twice. Maybe they'll single up on Butler and he can go after him now.
Here goes Curtis Dickey, boxed in, and Dickey can't go anywhere as number 51. Monty Coleman, the linebacker, and 45, Jarvis White hit him boxed in, and Coleman wasn't about to let him get away. Quentin Lowry also in there now as a linebacker. McCauley and Burke are now in for the Baltimore Colts. They lost another yard on that play. It's 3rd down, 14, almost 15. McCauley is in the passing situation. Mendenhall is out. Hickman is in defensively now for the Redskins on the front line. Redskins lead 7-0 on a 38-yard touchdown pass by Joe Theismann. Slot right, 3rd and 14. Jones under a rush. Down he goes.
linebackers from the outside coming. And what happens in that situation is the linemen see it. They want to help out by getting a piece of a linebacker. And what it does, it frees up Dexter Manley with his speed to get to Burt Jones.
Well,
penalty flag down.
Yes, sir. Baltimore may not be in such bad shape after all.
They need a break. They'll take anything.
Jim Tunney will tell us what the infraction was.
Illegal contact, number 24. Foul penalized to the previous spot, 5 yards, first down.
Lamar Parrish, the cornerback, number 24, guilty of the foul. Joe Gibbs in his first year with the Redskins saw his team start out 0-5, but they've now won 6 of the last 9. They have a mathematical chance for the playoffs.
You get 5 yards where you can chuck your receiver when they come off. Parrish let him get beyond that 5-yard mark, and they caught him for pushing him out of the pattern. It was a shame because Burt Jones never had a chance to throw the ball to anybody.
And the big thing, the Colts got a first down out of it at the 26. Jones to McCall, the tight end, lost the football. If it's a completion.
No, he's going to call it dead. Home fans won't like that one.
Joe Lavender had the coverage and the hit. And the Redskin fans react.
You know, too much pressure on the guys in the striped shirts this year. They have too many judgment calls to make, Merle, and I think it really confuses them. There he's down, ball slips out. Really and truly, according to the rule, as soon as you're down, the ball's dead. Well, 1/10 of 1/2 of 1 second. I mean, that's unfair to put a guy in a position to make that call.
Gain of 9, 2nd and 1. 6:24 to go in the first quarter. Redskins lead 7-0. Butler in motion. Curtis Dickey slipped and was arm tackled by Brad Dusick, who tripped him up. And Dusick, the 8-year veteran from Texas A&M, comes up with a big play. So the loss makes it 3rd down and 6 as they lost 5 in the play. And here comes Mr. McCauley again. Don McCauley, number 23. Randy Burke, number 84, come in. Reese McCauley, a tight end, goes out. 5 defensive backs come on the field now, or are on the field for the Washington Redskins.
This is Don McCauley's spot. 3rd down, 7 yards. This is when you can go to a back. You don't need the long pass, 14, 15 yards. This is where you need the linebacker one-on-one with the running back, and you hit him when he gets open.
McCauley the setback. Stays in the block, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Dickey. Peters had the coverage on the play, and it's 4th down coming up for the Baltimore Colts, and that'll bring on Mike Wood.
Well, they used McCauley the last 2 times he came in as a decoy. They went to the running back that time on the linebacker, but too much pressure on Burt Jones. Had to throw it way before he wanted to.
Mike Wood, who has hit 9 out of 15 field goals and has scored 52 points for the year, will be kicking this one from the, let's see, they're going to spot it just about at the 29-yard line, a 39-yard effort. And from this range, he's 2 out of 3.
Missed it, Merle. Just dead flat missed it.
Yeah, just didn't get the foot into the ball at all. And so with 5 minutes and 23 seconds left, the Colts give up the football. And it's a 7-0 lead for the Washington Redskins as Joe Theismann and company take over here in the first period. Polar Bears, but big series now for the Baltimore defense. This is where they got to stop them, or like you said, they may fall apart.
2 bad mistakes. Bad kick on the field goal. They don't get anything out of it. They're looking for that roof to cave in on them again.
Well, let's see if the Baltimore defense now can do something against Joe Theismann. Redskins ball at the 22. Theismann, a quickie to see for short yardage to about the 28. Stop made by Derek Hatchett. In the series between the AFC and the NFC leading by 4 this year, and they need 3 wins to clinch the series for the first time since 1972. One of the things that's happening, Mike, you're seeing an awful, I don't know, maybe it's my own observation only, but an awful lot of AFC coaches are coming over to the NFC, putting in those big offenses.
Starting to open it up.
Yep. Washington, nowhere. Mike Ozdowski making the stop.
One of the great stories I heard on Joe Gibbs, the quarterback, or the head coach here, who coached the quarterbacks and the offense out at San Diego. Don Coryell's crazy. He likes to wide open, throw it everywhere, all kinds of receivers. He used to have to calm Joe Gibbs down. He wanted to do even wilder things. So, you know, in the days, it may come even wilder here in Washington, and they'll love it.
It's quite a change for Redskins fans.
Oh, used to be 3 yards in a cloud of dust and throw a quick slant to Charlie Taylor.
3rd down 5. Theismann, 3 out of 5, 78 yards, 1 touchdown. Now batted up in the air by Orvis and maybe intercepted by the Colts on the 31. No, he could not hold the ball. Herb Orvis, who is 6'5", went way up in the air, got his hands on that football, and batted it up in the air. The Colts went for the interception. No go.
You know, I thought basketball season has just started. This looks like the center jump at the beginning of the game. Here you got 6'5" Orvis going up after it. And 40 Bruce Laird. And I think Laird had a shot at it, and it slipped right through his stomach. There's Bruce on the sidelines.
He's really frustrated, isn't he?
Yep.
Mike Connell to do the punting now for the Redskins on 4th down 5. Ray Butler deep for Baltimore as Connell pops a pretty good one. He's been averaging 40.4 this year. Dave Shula, 85 back there. Ball down to the 35-yard line. The Colts will take over there, trailing 7-0. And here in Washington, you're looking at Burt Jones. Burt Jones, who may be with the Los Angeles Rams next year. Or so. McMillan in motion. Draw to Washington on a misdirection. He's up to about the 42 and brought down by Dusick and Cronin, the linebackers. And he gets 7 yards. It'll be 2nd down 3.
Dave Butts and Kenny Huff have got quite a matchup today. Those Colts offensive right guard against Butts, who's 295. And you got to go in and just suck it up and say, I got to handle this big guy. And look at him right here. He takes him to the inside, and that gives Dickey just a little bit of a crack to get a couple of yards. Although Butts at his size, if you move him 1 foot, you've done quite a job.
Randy McMillan bangs for the 1st down, getting 7 yards out to the 47-yard line, and Pete Cronin, 54, the middle linebacker, makes the stop. Neil Olkowitz, the regular middle linebacker, is out with a knee injury for the Redskins. Yesterday, the New York Jets stayed in it, beating the Cleveland Browns 14-13. The Jets in Miami now in the Eastern Division. Minnesota's out of it.
That scores backwards there.
It was Detroit 45, Minnesota 7 yesterday. Now the Vikings wish it were the other way. Play action. The chase is on. Big Dave Butts chasing Burt Jones out of bounds. Dave Butts at 295 pounds, and Jones knew what to do. Get out of bounds.
You know, the New York Jets, with that win yesterday, put a lot of pressure on Buffalo and Miami today, and there's part of the reason right there, Merle.
Of course, Miami can come up with a clincher. Buffalo, of course, is still close, but Miami can clinch by beating Kansas City today.
Well, Buffalo and Miami play the last game of the season. So if both of those teams win today, then they have to meet the final Sunday or the final Saturday, which will be right here on NBC. And that game will be for the division title.
There are 19 teams still left in it, and Mike Haffner will tell you all about it. Or we have a better idea. But in the meantime, This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Washington Redskins and the National Football League is prohibited. Now, if you really want to know who is still in this thing, there are 19 teams as of today that still have mathematical chances of being in the playoffs. Send a letter to Joe Piscopo.
Yes, 30 Rockefeller Plaza, New York, 10020.
Yeah, Joe can tell you. 2nd down 9 for Baltimore. Jones wants it all to Carr. Great catch by Carr at the 10. Joe Lavender right with him, and Carr backpedaling hauls it in. Roger Carr, 470 yards going into the game today and 29 touchdowns for a career, almost had number 30.
One thing about great wide receivers with outstanding speed, a lot of them can't turn around and make an adjustment. Watch Carr turn around, backpedal. I mean, he was flat out trying to beat Lavender. Had to turn back to the quarterback, and Burt makes the perfect throw inside. Roger is some kind of receiver. I feel sorry for him on a 1-13 team.
43 yards. Jones to Carr, 1st and goal inside the 10. Dickey and McMillan the setbacks. Jones to the end zone. Touchdown to Ray Butler. Jarvis White beaten on the coverage by Ray Butler, who scores his 7th touchdown of the year. And look at this Baltimore Colt club react.
One of the big problems for the Redskins defense is Lamar Parrish is sitting on the bench. They've got to put Jarris White in, and I'm certain that every one of the coaches on the Baltimore Colts knew that they were going right after Jarris White today. And after Roger Carr caught the long pass, he was the decoy then underneath. White went right inside, went for the fake and everything, and leaves his man Butler wide open for a touchdown.
A 10-yard touchdown pass, or a 9 to be technical about it. The ball just inside the 10. Now Mike Wood for the extra point try to tie the game. It's locked up at 7. We have 1:45 seconds to go in the first quarter, and the Baltimore Colts have marched 65 yards on 5 plays, with Butler catching the touchdown pass, and it's 7-7 in Washington. He did today, Mike, trying to figure out who is where and who is winning and who is still in it and who's dropped out of it.
Every game is important, and how about next week's game? New England plays Baltimore for the first-round draft choice.
Mike Wood to kick it off, and Mike Nelms, a real burner, is deep, but he hits a ground ball down the middle. And it is picked up at the 25-yard line and returned by Ricky Klatt. Ricky Klatt brings that ball out to about the 35.
You know, it was a couple of years ago that Washington played Dallas on the last game of the season and could have gotten into the playoffs. And with their young talent and everything, you'd expect them to be in the chase this year. But you know, they have 27 guys on injured reserve. I mean, they could take their 27, probably play another team in the division and finish higher.
Dallas, already assured of a playoff berth, could wrap it up with a win today. Slips and falls. Joe Washington trying to make his cut. And he goes down covered by Donnell Thompson, number 99, the rookie from North Carolina, the 6'5", 252-pounder.
Donnell Thompson and Herb Orvis on that side. You know, they've had so many injuries in the Colts on the defensive club. They've changed from a 3-4. They've gone back to a 4-3. Thompson's been hurt. Bubba Green's been hurt. But some of these young kids next year are going to forget about this season. They're going to be awful tough, Merle.
Thompson can't slip and fall on the turf. His shoe size is 16 plus. Metcalf in motion. Second down, 17 after a loss of 7. Almost completed to number 80, Virgil C. And Larry Brazil, 47, the right quarterback, breaks up the play.
On a cold day, that's the toughest catch. When you got to stretch and just use your hands. If you get any contact at all, you're going to drop it.
C caught one for 38 yards and a touchdown to put the Redskins on the scoreboard here in the first quarter, which only has 53 seconds left. Theismann is 3 out of 8, 84 yards and 1 touchdown. These quarterbacks are both pretty much on target today, Mike.
And the Colts are playing a lot of zone defense, Merle, and just making sure nobody gets deep on them. They've already made one mistake in the secondary that cost them a touchdown.
Theismann looks for the wide receiver, and that's Terry Metcalf. It's kind of hard to say wide receiver with Terry Metcalf, but that's what he is. Pinckney and Glasgow had the coverage back there, and they just misfired on that one.
Pinckney came in and helped out because Bruce Laird had him one-on-one, number 40, Bruce Laird for Baltimore, and Terry Metcalf had him beat. It was just a matter of being just an inch or two too long.
Back to do the punting, Mike Connell. Dave Shula, and that name rings a bell, doesn't it? Is the deep man for the Baltimore Colts. Dave Shula out of Dartmouth. And he gets almost nothing on the return as he slipped and went down. He was covered immediately by Otis Wansley. And we're down to 39 seconds to go in the first quarter. We've got a tie ball game at RFK Stadium in Washington. Finished as a public service by Ed Simonini in the National Football League. And it just doesn't seem right not to see Ed Simonini out there at his middle linebacker spot today for Baltimore.
One of the problems of the Baltimore defense, maybe the problem. He was the leader, as well as maybe one of the best linebackers the Colts have had.
30-yard punt, left the ball at the 43-yard line for the Baltimore Colts with 39 seconds to go in the first period. Curtis Dickey off the left tackle. Second effort to the midfield stripe before Peters, number 23, the strong safety, and Lavender, the right cornerback, can bring him down. Curtis Dickey, what a football player out of Texas A&M, world-class sprinter, 9/200.
I'll tell you, you want to get in his way. Don't give him anything open. If you have to read the 27 on his back, it's 6. I mean, there's just no other way to explain it. He's got that kind of speed.
He had a big game last week, 130 yards against Dallas, including a 67-yard touchdown run, also a 20-yard TD. Second down 4, and Randy McMillan says, I'll take care of that, and does. Down to the 43-yard line for a first down. Perry Brooks makes the tackle as the first quarter comes to an end. The Redskins got off first with a quick touchdown. The Colts answered with a touchdown pass by Jones. We're tied at RFK Stadium in Washington. We've got a 7-7 ball game. And going back to this series, and we alluded to this before the ball game, Mike, the Redskins are not taking the Colts lightly because of what you see right now.
You know, this is one of the few games in the NFL where the team buses to the game. These guys are playing in each other's backyard. It's kind of like bragging rights. Baltimore and Washington area are very close to each other. And as you saw by that record, Redskins would like to even it up a little bit.
Curt Jones has never lost to the Redskins. From the 43, incomplete, intended for Curtis Dickey. Mark Murphy, the free safety, had the coverage. Jones is now 6 out of 8 for 111 yards and 1 touchdown. So Burt is off to a roaring start. First quarter looked like this statistically. The Colts the slight edge overall.
Now, one of the big ones that stick out, 2 yards rushing for the Redskins. Granted, you have to throw to win in the NFL, but you've got to have a running game. Keep those linebackers at home when you throw the ball. They're going to have to show the run to them eventually.
Second and 10 on the 43. Dickey on the draw. The Redskins read it, and Matt Mendenhall, 76, the defensive left end, who has started the last 3 ball games and is, well, he's been good against the run all year for that matter. He got a little help from Monty Colvin, 51, the linebacker. And a loss on the play up 2 makes it third down 9. And here comes Don McCauley again for the Baltimore Colts, along with Randy Burke, number 84. McCall goes out to tie it in. McMillan is out. It is now McCauley and Burke and Carr and Butler.
Well, we'll see if they use McCauley as a decoy, but I guarantee you those linebackers will stay home to watch him.
He stays in the block, and the pass instead goes to Carr for a first down. Jarvis White had the coverage, and wait a minute, hold it up right there. He might have been out of bounds, and I guess he was. So Carr did not have both feet planted. It is fourth down and 9 coming up for Baltimore. Again,
they freeze the linebackers with the running backs. Then you get the underneath coverage out of the way. Obviously, they're going after Jarvis White, and toe was out. Roger didn't even argue, and he's been around long enough to know whether he was in or out.
Mike Garrett has come in to punt for Baltimore. Mike is a second-year man out of Georgia, 39.6 average this year. Nelms is deep for Washington. Let's see if Garrett can get it out inside the 10. And Nelms at the 12. Nelms is rocked up at the 22. Larry Brazil, a linebacker, downfield to make the tackle. We're 14:01 away from the first half. We've got a 7-7 ball game. And Heisman has established the fact that he's got a passing game going. What's next for him now in this series?
He's got to run the football. 2 yards in the first quarter. He's giving a great advantage to a Baltimore Colt linebacking crew that's not quite that good. He's got to run the football.
All right, let's see if he does. From the 22, Washington in possession. Play action. Theismann going for the downs, and he hits number 81, Art Monk, his favorite receiver, all the way down to the 42-yard line as they go after Derek Hatchett, number 42 again. So Art Monk, who had a 79-yard touchdown reception earlier this year, picks up 30 yards on that one and puts the ball at the 42-yard line of the Baltimore Colts. So Theismann knows he's got a good thing going, I guess.
That shows you why Joe Gibbs is coaching, and I'm sitting up here in the press box. I said he got to run the ball, and look at that.
Well, let's see if he runs it this time. Riggins is in there now. There's the lone back. John Riggins pulls his way to the 39-yard line. Smith makes the stop. Let's go to Bryant Gumbel in New York for an update. 11th victory. Ken Anderson, 25 touchdowns this year. What a year he's had. But not today.
Not today, though.
He's out. Injured. Second down, 7. Garrett in motion. Theismann dumps it off on a screen to Joe Washington. And he outran the screen. Flag goes down to the 35-yard line as Washington goes to the 32. Derek Hatchett over there to run him out of bounds.
You know, we talked they had to run the football. They gave it to Riggins on the first down play. All the linebackers now froze for a moment, and then the perfect slip screen out to Joe. The only problem is they got that little yellow flag in the ground.
So Jim Tunney takes a walk the other way against the Redskins. Says, boys, you done them wrong.
Holding, 89, 10 yards, still second down.
Alvin Garrett, a second-year man from Angelo State. That's Joe Gibbs with the glasses and the headset there. Garrett guilty of the foul. Penalties 3 against the Skins, 25 yards. It is a second down and 13 coming up on the 46 of Baltimore. Theismann sends Warren in motion. Goes to Joe Washington out of the backfield of the 42 and Joe Fettersfield. Number 50, the middle linebacker, makes the tackle. Short yardage on that one. Now let's check scores of other ball games. 3-0 Pittsburgh on a 48-yard field goal by Dave Trout. We talked about that with Bryant a moment ago. Pittsburgh out in front. Green Bay, a 14-0 lead over New Orleans. Green Bay has won 5 of the last 6, and Green Bay is still in the title picture, at least mathematically, at least in the playoff picture. Buffalo 14-0 over the New England Pats. 4:35 to go in the half there. Ferguson has a touchdown pass to Cribbs, and the Giants lead St. Louis. Theismann on the roll, and he has got number 80, C, who caught his 38-yard touchdown pass earlier, and C is out of bounds across the way near the first down marker. Shiver made the tackle over there. Now we'll look for the marking.
They're short, Merle, but they're going for it. Joe Gibbs, an offensive football coach.
Ball is just across the 35. Watch the crowd go.
I'll tell you, if the ball was this side of the 35, Joe Gibbs would punt the football.
Why?
Because that's just where you break to make your decision. The 35-yard line's about the key.
For the length of the football?
Just about the length of the football. You got to break it somewhere.
2 tight ends, 2 big fullbacks. And look what Theismann's doing on 4th down. He's got a first down. Throwing the ball to Walker, the tight end, and Pinckney makes the tackle. The Redskin fans love it. Rick Walker, the tight end, at 235 pounds, takes it in for the first down.
Oh, that's a Joe Gibbs call. Oh, it comes right out of the Don Coryell book. It's the perfect call. You know, Baltimore should have been looking for it. It was 4th down and really about 2 yards. Very tough to run a fullback up there and get 2 yards on 4th down. They should have been looking for the play-action pass.
Score tied at 7. Walker in motion. Riggins right up the middle. He is down to the 20-yard line. Donnell Thompson, 99, the defensive left end, stops Riggins, who is still in a contract dispute with the Redskins after sitting out last year. He got 4 yards on that play down to the 20, and it'll be second down 6.
John Riggins is a different John Riggins than I played against when he was at the Jets. He was a wild man there. He's matured a bunch now, and he gets every ounce out of his ability now, Merle. He's one heck of a fullback.
Remember a guy named Gale Sayers at Kansas?
Oh, yes.
Riggins broke all of his records.
That's right.
Riggins again. Riggins making a cut on the inside. Russ Grimm, the left guard, pulled to lead the blocking, and Riggins made the cut just inside Grimm, and he's got a first down and goal to go with the 8-yard line of Baltimore after a 12-yard pickup.
Watch Riggins here. Slow, nice and calm. The old veteran knows exactly when to make the break, and then he uses that great fullback power in those legs to get the extra yardage. He broke a couple arm tackles. You've got to get on him.
Riggins, 3 carries, 18 yards. He didn't play last week until the third quarter. Then he really came on as a star in that ball game. First and goal. Riggins again. Riggins, straight power, touchdown. Reggie Pinckney. Coming up with his 10th touchdown of the year as he took Reggie Pinckney right into the end zone.
You know what it takes to play fullback in the NFL? Just watch this replay right here. Look at the power. Upstairs, nobody tackles John Riggins upstairs. You got to get around his knees and bring him down. He'll carry you for 15 yards. You tackle him upstairs.
The extra point try, Mosley puts it right into the net. And the Redskins take a 7-point lead with 9 minutes and 34 seconds left to play in the first half. 78 yards. Bryant. Haffner couldn't go through. He's got to have twice that much room.
There's another look at John Riggins in the end zone. You know, he didn't play that much in the beginning of the year. He was making mistakes. He wasn't in shape. But Joe Gibbs now, after last week's performance when they upset the Eagles, he said, I made a mistake. I should have played him. And he just proved it again by going to the end zone.
Mosley kicks it away. Dixon inside the 15, crosses the 20 and gets shelled down at about the 23. Darrell Grant, Perry Brooks with the special teams on the kickoff coverage. 14-yard return, however. First down for Baltimore on the Colt 23-yard line.
And again, here's that pressure on them. They're now behind again. They're a 1-13 club. Will it enter their mind they're trying to get the season over, or will the backyard rivalry stick in their head, and will they come back and give a good drive?
You know, you talked about a moment ago about the Redskins going to have to establish a running game. Well, Riggins took care of that.
Yes.
First down for the Colts. Dickey and McMillan, the running backs. Right to Roger Carr. First down at the 40. Carr out of bounds on the 46-yard line of Baltimore. Pete Cronin, 54, the linebacker, took him out of bounds, but Roger Carr picks up the first down.
Peter Rolfe, the producer today, and I last night talked with Roger Carr, and he said we might have some surprises for the Redskins, but I knew the surprise. Roger Carr on Jarris White, and it's one-on-one, and White can't cover him. There is no way, if he gets Roger one-on-one all day, he's going to do it.
But Roger's limping as he goes to the sideline, and Randy Burke replaces him. Carr, 4 receptions, 87 yards now. First down at the Baltimore 46. Colts trail 14-7. Curtis Dickey, no place to go. Mendenhall, 76. Dusek, 59, and it all breaks out now. Manley, 72, and a flag is dropped in the backyard brawl we happened to mention before the game started today. Kind of breaks out here.
And you can tell by the crowd reaction who it's going against.
Curtis Dickey has got a tough upper body. You know, so many sprinters can't take a hit that don't have the power. As a big 15-yard penalty is walked off by Tunney. Let's see who got it.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 72, 15 yards first.
Oh, rookies get too excited. You know, you talk about the upper body strength, Merle. That people don't realize that great sprinters not only need the great lower body, the legs, etc., but if you want to be a world-class sprinter, you better be strong upstairs. In fact, a couple of the sprinters who've been in the Olympics lift weights.
Just barely missing to Butler. As White again was a man they pick on, Jarris White, number 45 back there. And you were saying about the sprinters?
Harvey Glantz, who at one time held a world record in the 100 meters, can bench press 350 pounds. You get that great arm swing and drive, and that's what gives you the extra speed.
Guess who beat Glantz in head-to-head competition?
Curtis Dickey.
Curtis Dickey.
I think he ran.
He did.
Yeah, 60 meters faster than any man in the world ever ran it.
Well, he did the 60 in 6'2". Jones, 7 out of 11, 134 yards, 1 touchdown. Burton and Butler, the wideouts. Dickey behind the pulling guards, and fine defensive play this time by Jarris White, the left cornerback, who came up and split him, and Dickey only got a couple of yards out of that one.
Jarris White can play the run. He's having an awful time against the pass today, though.
So it'll be 3rd down, 8. Pratt and Huff, 61 and 62, the guards pulled for the Colts on the running play. Kevin Williams has come in now, and McMillan has come out for Baltimore in the backfield. 3rd down, 8. Kevin Williams, number 21. Let's see where he goes. He'll go into the slot left. Oh, he's going to go wide left. Butler in the slot to the left. McCauley, the lone setback. McCauley sneaking out there, and there he is, but the ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. Don McCauley kind of lulled somebody to sleep, then tried to sneak in that hole right over the middle.
He was open, but an outstanding job. I think it was either Butts Probably Butts, as big as he is, got his hand up and tipped it away. That'd have been a first down, Merle.
So Mike Garrett coming on now for the Baltimore Colts. A score of 14-7 Redskins. 8:12 to go in the first half. Mike Nelms goes back to run it back if there is one for the Washington Redskins. But Garrett will try to boot the ball out of bounds, obviously. He's from Georgia. Nelms had a big 79-yard return earlier this year. Nelms plays the block as the blocker, and the ball goes into the end zone with a touchback. It'll be brought out to the 20-yard line, so we've got 8:03 to go in the first half. The Redskins lead it by a score of 14-7 after the 37-yard kick by Garrett. By a score of 14-7. Theismann opened the scoring today, throwing 38 yards to Virgil C. John Riggins, who scored the other touchdown, is in the ball game, and the Redskins have it at their own 20. Is at the 30-yard line, may have the first down. Derek Hatchett made the tackle. You saw Monk come in motion back toward the middle of the line and then turn around and go the other way. You know, one of the things, Mike, about the Dallas offense, they talk about all the moves they make in the backfield. They really don't mean anything. It's only where, you know, it's where you're set when the snap is made.
The one thing that it does for the defense, though, is you can't set there in that exact defense. You're going to have to make adjustments with motion. The one thing that you can do on that reverse motion is screw up the underneath coverage. The guy's going to cover the guy wherever he is. You're absolutely right. The linebackers don't get a key so quick.
You saw what Riggins has done as he goes to the sideline. They turn it over to Joe Washington, who bangs his way to the 37-yard line. They got 11 yards on the previous play and a first down. Mike Ozdowski, the defensive right end, who has missed the last 3 ball games with a shoulder injury, back in today making the tackle. A gain of 5 by Joe Washington, and he's going to get a little rest now. Joe Washington had a rib cartilage injury in the Dallas game a few weeks ago, and he was off to a great start of that ball game, so he's still a little tender after 3 weeks. Wonder if he's wearing a flak jacket.
Oh, they all do now.
Riggins is in. To Riggins. Big guy from Kansas to the 42. He's got a first down. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
WRC-TV, Channel 4, Washington, D.C.
Merle, Harmon, and Mike Haffner with you from Washington. The Redskins lead at 14-7, scoring in the first period on a Virgil C. reception of 38 yards and a pass thrown by Theismann. And then Burt Jones hit Ray Butler on a 10-yard strike to tie the score at 7 with 1:45 to go in the first quarter. Then Riggins came back to score the lead touchdown with 9:35 to go here in the first half. Play action with Theismann back over the middle, and he completes this one to Don Warren, his tight end, at about the 40, making the midfield stripe. Bruce Laird made the tackle. They're short of a first down by 3.
You know, ever since that touchdown by the Colts, the throw to Butler, it's been the John Riggins show. He's been running the football. He's also keeping the linebackers at home. Now they're throwing underneath the coverage. They got to play Riggins first and then pass second, and that's the way you win in the NFL.
Theismann is over 150 yards in the first half and over the 3,000-yard mark for the year. Walker in motion. Theismann keeps it going. Ball batted high in the air this time. Mike Fultz, number 72, is 6'5", out of Nebraska, got his hands up on that one. It's a third down coming up in 3.
You know, defensive linemen work on this every day in practice. You rush the passer, and as soon as you get to the point where you feel the ball will be thrown, you stick your hands in the air. And there it is, Fultz, and he's a big one anyway.
You know, Mike, Theismann lets that ball go. His point of release is near the shoulder. Jones was doing that a year ago, I think. Now they've got his extension way up high.
Both have had shoulder injuries, and that's a problem, getting it stretched out.
3rd and 3. Theismann going for Monk, and Monk is pulled out from behind inside the 15 by Derek Hatchett. Hatchett is really getting a workout today.
He had 2 receivers open that time, Merle. Virgil Say was open, wide open, but so was Monk. He had either one. There's Joe airing it out. You saw the shoulder drop just a tad, but watch how badly Hatchett's beat. I mean, he's got him by 3 or 4 steps. Monk, you know, wait till Monk gets to be a 5-year veteran. He's going to eat this league alive. He is one great football player.
200 yards in the air in the first half now by Joe Theismann.
Now here comes the John Riggins show. The whole second quarter, and taking a look at how strong he is. You cannot hit him upstairs. There's a missed broken tackle. Now they try to take him on at waist high. He just runs right over one of the defensive backs and then into the end zone. He's so strong.
And Mosley makes it 21-7 Redskins with 4 minutes and 20 seconds left to play here in the first half. And one more look at John Riggins' power. Touchdowns here in the second quarter to give Washington a 21-7 lead. 6 carries, 47 yards for Riggins, 11 touchdowns for the year.
He's quite a fullback, and what a day he's having. You got to keep going back to him, Merle. He's too good.
Dixon deep to take Mosley's kickoff. Way up in the air it goes. And Zachary Dixon from the 10. Dixon getting an extra 3 with a good effort. Brought down by Ricky Klatt and Nick Giaquinto.
You know, that the Washington offense looks so much like the San Diego offense. You got Muncie and Brooks out in San Diego, the quick guy and the big strong guy. You got 2 great wide receivers here. You got the great wide receivers out there. What you do in a passing offense is have that big stud at fullback to keep those guys honest. And if you give him a break, look at him run right over Donnell Thompson. Ed Smith tries to tackle him, and look at how powerful Riggins is. If you're playing pass and that stud gets in your backfield, you're in trouble.
Good analysis, Mike Haffner. 80 yards in a hurry for the Redskins, and 21-7. Jones sets the screen to Randy McMillan. And the big fullback with a lot of speed to the 27, tripped up by Dave Butts, and he couldn't keep his footing, and he goes down.
Robert Pratt made a great block. You were about to say it too.
They get 4. It'll be 2nd down 6. We have 3:45 to go in the first half. Mike McCormick, an outstanding gentleman and a very respected coach, has had everything go wrong this year. They've had all kinds of problems in the front office, filtering down to the field. The owner has called some of the plays even. It's been a tough year for Mike McCormick, a guy with a lot of class. Butler and Carr are the wideouts. And this is Butler for the first down across the 35 of the 36. And again, they go to Jarvis Whiteside.
Oh, they're going to pick on him all day. We knew that going in. One of the things the Colts have to do here is come away with some points. Because you go in 1-13, McCormick's not going to have anything to say to him at halftime. If they get some points, they'll have a little bit of an edge. Take a look again. You want to know if Burt Jones is all right? Look at that throw. Frozen rope, perfect throw. No way Jarvis White or any cornerback could have stopped it. He needed the first down yardage and got it.
Jones didn't play last week. David Humm did. Some felt that Jones could have played, but he didn't. Reese McCall, the tight end, it's intercepted. It is picked off by Murphy. That's his 7th interception of the year, and Mark brings the ball back to the 49-yard line before Curtis Dickey can pull him down.
Look out. Look out. Here comes the roof. Just caved in on the Colts.
So Murphy gets his 7th interception of the year. And we'll be back after this. 21-7 lead, Mike Haffner. We already know what Theismann's done in the first half. 200 yards. Is he going to try to get him on a big one right here?
2 factors. 1, this is Joe Gibbs, the head coach. He opens it up all the time. And 2, you can bury the Colts right now with a touchdown.
Theismann, 3 receivers out. He goes to the screen to Washington instead, and he is dumped to the 47-yard line by Ed Smith, the linebacker from Vanderbilt. They lost some yards on that one, I believe.
One of the things in the NFL, on a turnover, you always try to take advantage. It doesn't make any difference if there's 2 seconds left. If it's the first quarter, the fourth quarter, the third, you always take advantage and try to score on a turnover.
Terry Metcalf has just come into the huddle. The 6-year NFL star who went up to Canada, played 3 years up there. As we look at the clock going down to the 2-minute mark, Loss of 2 on the play. Second down, 12 coming up, and will not get a playoff as we have the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to go in the first half. The Redskins have scored twice here in the second period and have moved out in front by a score of 21-7. Catch NBC Sports on New Year's Day for the best in college football. Starting at 1:30 Eastern, it's the Fiesta Bowl with Penn State taking on USC and Marcus Allen, the Heisman Trophy winner. Then Washington meets Iowa in the Rose Bowl, and finally the national championship game. Number 1 ranked Clemson takes on Nebraska. All on New Year's Day on NBC Sports. You've done that Fiesta Bowl a number of times. That's a good one, isn't it?
Every year.
Good way to start.
Every year we've had it on there, and this might be the best one of them all. How about Marcus Allen against Kurt Warner? I mean, there can be two tailbacks trying to eat each other.
All on NBC. Great bowl lineup. Joe Theismann returns to the huddle. He's got 3 timeouts. The Colts, well, you can see what's happened to them in the first quarter in 107-46.
265-91 in the first half. Now you know. I mean, there goes the whole offense in the second half.
Yep.
What good's a game plan when you're down 21-7? You've got to throw the football to catch up. Running game isn't going to help you.
At the 46, second and 12. Metcalf in motion. Art Monk, and Monk is at midfield before Barry Cross can bring him down. Got about 4 yards on the play. Barry Cross out of Alabama. It's been a tough year for the Baltimore Colts. You know, they came into this year, I think, really looking for a better than 500 season and being in the playoff picture with the way the schedule was and everything. And
they thought with the draft of McMillan that was going to set them up with a great running game. They had the good receivers. Burt was healthy for the first time in a while.
Theismann cranks it up and throws. Did he make the reception? See, he did indeed. Virgil C. took that one right off the grass in front of Brazil. It's a first down for the Washington Redskins, and they call a timeout with 1:05 left. 16 yards on this one.
This is a quarterback's dream when a wide receiver makes a catch like this for you. That's a perfect throw down and away from the cornerback. And say he had great concentration, picked it right off the grass.
Theismann, 15 out of 21 for 215, 16, 17 yards. Next week, NBC Sports has another special Saturday edition of NFL football. Host Brian Gumbel will have all the news from around the league on NFL 81, starting at 3:30 Eastern Time. Then it's a game that could decide the AFC East title as Buffalo takes on Miami in the Orange Bowl. That's a special edition of NFL football next Saturday on NBC Sports. And it could be next Saturday.
Yeah, do you suppose we'll have the playoff picture a little more or less clouded by then? I doubt it.
Remember to write Joe Piscopo.
Yes. 30 Rockefeller Plaza, New York, 10020. Because it would take you and I the whole 3-hour broadcast to explain all the possibilities.
Most unbelievable thing I believe the NFL has ever experienced. 19 teams as of today still have a mathematical chance to be in it. Joe Gibbs sending Joe Theismann. Boy, what a combination. I mean, the offense of Joe Gibbs and a quarterback to run it like Theismann, huh?
Quarterback that can move and has got the big, strong arm. And the more he plays for Joe Gibbs, the better Joe Theismann is going to get.
It is 21-7. Washington, 1:04 to go in the first half. Metcalf, the man in motion. There's Metcalf, and nobody out front. Bruce Laird, who's been around 10 years, and it really showed there. Number 40, right up there to make the tackle for a loss, and the clock is showing 50 seconds to go as Mike McCormick takes a look and says, ooh, nice going, Bruce, but now what else can you do for me here? That loss made it second down 20. That wasn't bad.
No, you called it perfect. Bruce Laird, on a screen pass or a slip screen to a wide receiver or running back, you've got to fool the safeties. And you don't fool a 10-year veteran like Laird. I mean, he just didn't fall for it, that's all.
Joe Gibbs and Joe Theismann. The Skins still have one timeout remaining and trying to get some more points on the board with 48 seconds to go in the first half. Mike McCormick, a great All-American at the University of Kansas, an All-Pro with Paul Brown and the Cleveland Browns. Later coach Philadelphia, an assistant coach, head coach at Philadelphia, assistant coach with the Redskins. And a very respected man, but
Not all his fault, Merle.
The Colts situation is a mess.
Winning football teams start right at the top, work all the way down to the water boy. Bad secretary can cost you a ball game on a Sunday afternoon. You just never know.
Explain that one, will you?
Well, the game's played from the neck up. Secretary delivers the wrong message, and the quarterback can't hit the broadside of a barn.
NFL 81 coming up at halftime. Bryant Gumbel highlights of the other games being played. The biggies being played today, a lot of them. Second down, 20 for Theismann. He's got more than that to hurt Monk, and Monk breaks it. Monk may go. He's inside the 10 at the 8. Bruce Blair yanks him down from behind. 36 seconds to go in the first half. Pinckney helping out. First down and goal to go, and the Redskins stop the clock with their last timeout after a 33-yard strike to Art Monk.
With the new passing rules, everybody playing zone defense, you've got to have receivers that'll go across the middle, because that's where you get open. And if Art Monk wasn't open on that play, I don't know who was. Then he makes a great move to the outside, and it takes the 10-year veteran Laird to bring him down.
Monk, 6'3", 209 out of Syracuse. Wow.
They didn't waste a #1 draft choice on that young man, I'll tell you.
#1 in 1980. Now we have 34 seconds remaining. The Skins lead by a score of 21-7, scoring twice here in the second quarter.
If you're a young wide receiver now in college, senior year, you're praying the Redskins get your number when you come up. You want to play for guys like Joe Gibbs, for Eric Coryell out in San Diego, for Dallas, people who like to throw the football.
Monk has picked up 121 yards in this game already. He is 769 yards for the year.
You push that 1,000-yard mark as a wide receiver every year, and you might be in the Hall of Fame after a while.
Now Theismann back to the huddle with a first down and goal to go. This Redskin team has a completely different look this year.
You know what I'd do right here? I'd run the draw play. Baltimore's looking for the pass. You got 34 seconds, no timeouts. You're not expecting it.
You called it with Riggins. We'll see. Intercepted by Larry Brazil. And all he had ahead of him was 90 yards of open territory. Ricky Thompson was the intended receiver.
I'll tell you, you should have run the draw play instead of throwing this pass. This was a bad throw. He tried to rush it. Brazil looked like the intended receiver all the way.
It is now second down and goal on the 8. Well, let's see if Joe Theismann has been listening to the telecast.
Now, 28 seconds now. He's got to throw the football.
Metcalf and Washington are wide. Monk in motion to the right. Theismann going for Metcalf, and a fine defensive play by Barry Krause, number 55. A tough assignment for a linebacker to go after a guy like Metcalf.
That's the ideal situation. You want to get matched up with a great player like Metcalf on any linebacker. One of the things Krause, he's had so many problems, Merle. He had to play on the inside, play middle linebacker. He doesn't belong there. He really doesn't have the outside speed to play outside linebacker. And that was the perfect matchup. Joe just laid it out there, and Krause made a great play. He reached for that extra 5% that the Colts haven't been reaching for all year.
Now Monk wide to the right. Split to the left side, Ricky Thompson. Theismann on the quarterback draw. Touchdown.
Well, it was 3 plays late, Merle. They did run the draw eventually. You knew Baltimore was looking past all the way, and with a great athlete like Theismann. I mean, I remember when he used to run this play at Notre Dame. And he's a tough kid. And Baltimore wasn't looking for that at all. He spread them out all over the place and walked in almost.
Mosley for the extra point try, and he's 4 for 4. We've got 17 seconds to go in the first half here in Washington. And the Redskins have moved up to a 28-7 lead.
You know, when you get inside that 10-yard line, you're playing a 4-man front most of the time. A lot of times you bring in the 5th guy, and they're all thinking pass. They take an outside pass rush, and that draw play is so wide open, especially with a 21-point lead, or about to have a 21-point lead. You got him thinking pass, and look at Theismann. He doesn't get touched till he hits about the half-yard line, and then just dives in for the score.
So Joe Theismann has had quite a day. 1 touchdown pass, set up others with his passing. He's over 200 yards for the first half. Riggins has scored on 2 running plays. Theismann on the other one. And a big lead for the Redskins, who are still in the playoff picture mathematically. He is 244 yards on 17 for 25 and 1 touchdown, plus his own touchdown run. Zachary Dixon will be back for the kickoff from Mark Mosley.
Watch the Colts special teams here. I got a feeling that you'll be able to tell whether the Colts are going to come out and play football in the second half. If they make a halfway effort here, they've given it up. Special teams where you see all the excitement. If they're not pumped up, the rest of the team goes right in the dumper.
So Mosley will kick it away. Dixon is the deep man. Ground ball is fielded on the 26-yard line. And returned by Dave Shula, number 85. Ricky Klatt, who has had 3 tackles now on kickoffs, comes up with his 3rd there. We're 13 seconds to go, and Baltimore, the ball on the 41-yard line, a 14-yard return.
You go for the Big Ben play here. Throw it up, hope the right color jersey catches it, or you get a penalty.
Right now, the Colts really need that one big play to go into the dressing room with some kind of momentum.
It's going to be gloomy in there if they don't. They got absolutely zipped to lose.
Jones swings it to Dickey. Dickey's got to get out of bounds, and does with 6 seconds left, but there's a flag drop. Mike Murphy, or Mike Nelms, I guess it was, made the tackle or ran him out of bounds. Let's see what the flag is.
That wasn't a bad call there. You get that great sprinter speed outside, and the Washington Redskins are in prevent. There's the typical Baltimore call. Holding, call it all back.
6 seconds to go in the first half. Baltimore's got an extra 10 to go now.
10 yards, still first down.
We didn't get the number.
Couldn't have been 80.
No,
80? That's a wide receiver holding. That'd be tough.
Now they talk about it. That's Pat Harder, the umpire. Center of the picture there, number 8. Pat was part of that great backfield of the old Chicago Cardinals that won it all one year in the NFL. Hall of Famer.
Is he a neighbor of yours?
Yeah, he is my neighbor.
Yeah.
Up in Wisconsin.
We've got 3 referees in the NFL out of Denver. Ben Dreit, Pat Haggerty. Oh, and I forgot the other one, and he'll get mad at me.
It is 1st and 20 on the 33 of Baltimore. Dickey and McMillan to the setbacks. Butler wide right, Carr left. Draw to Dickey. He's going to add to his yardage, but there's 1 second left. That's the end of the first half. He gets up to the 49-yard line. Colvin makes the tackle, and the Baltimore Colts are down by 3 at halftime. The Redskins lead it 28-7.
I'm sure one of the things that Joe Gibbs said going into this football game is, 1, we're worried about a team that's 1-13. They can hurt you. But 2, if you jump on them quick, if you get them down at 28-7, you might be able to have a chance to blow them out and have an easy Sunday.
So it's 28-7 here in Washington. That's the end of the first half. 28-7, Washington over the Baltimore Colts. Lead 28-7 at the half, and the first half has been the Joe Theismann and John Riggins story.
And there's no doubt about that. In this league now, in the old days, you had to run to set up your passing game. Now you have to throw to win, but you have to have the running game to make it a well-balanced offense. And John Riggins can do that for you. The first 5 games of the season, he was a non-factor here because of his arbitration problems on his contract. Now look what he does. I mean, that Baltimore defense is playing pass every single down. And when this guy gets in the secondary, he's going to run over people and around him. He's got real problems, though, with the contract. He's either got 1 or 2 years left, and there's been no decision yet on whether he's going to come back.
NFL 81 halftime activities will continue in a moment. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. In Washington, the Redskins took on a team that has dominated the Redskins over the years, 15 out of 19 meetings, and we had mentioned that Burt Jones had never lost to the Redskins. So the Redskins, aware of that, came out firing and immediately marched 87 yards for a touchdown as Theismann threw to Virgil C. the final 38 yards, and the Redskins jumped in front 7-0. We were wondering what would happen to Baltimore. We found out in a hurry as the Colts marched 65 yards to tie the game at the end of the first quarter at 7. But then the power running and the passing of Theismann and Riggins, or Riggins and Theismann, if you will, on 2 marches, put the Redskins in front, and then Theismann scored the 3rd touchdown of the second quarter on a quarterback draw from 8 yards with 17 seconds left to go, and the Redskins had themselves a very comfortable 3-touchdown lead at halftime.
We talked at the top of the show that he could come back, that the Colts would come back early, but as soon as the roof caved in, it was over.
And so it is Redskins 28 and the Baltimore Colts 7 at halftime. This 1981 National Football League game is brought to you by Schlitz, the Master Brewer's Brew. Just one taste and you'll know behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer. By the new Chrysler Corporation. For 1982, Chrysler has the cars, the quality, and the prices America needs. By Xerox, they make 22 copiers, and every one's an original. And by Twin Action Norelco Rotortrack Razor. Just what the Baltimore Colts will be able to do in the second half, if anything, as we look at the domination of the Redskins statistically.
In the first quarter, the Redskins had no rushing game, but look, all of a sudden it picks up to 62 yards with the emergence of John Riggins, and that boosts the passing up to 244. Really, the time of possession is no factor in this game. The turnovers, the one Colt turnover really didn't make that much difference. It's been the fact that the Colts are 1-13, the Redskins get up on them, and now we'll find out if those guys in blue out there, and I'm sure the Baltimore fans want to know, will they come out and play a decent second half, or will they just go in the tank and get ready, start making their plans for after the season?
And so, the word character.
Absolutely. I mean, they all have their own individual pride. What you do in those situations, you know how the character breaks down? You start turning around pointing fingers at people. It's the owner's fault, it's the coach's fault, it's the guy who didn't block for me, the guy who dropped the ball. If that starts happening, then character goes right out the window.
Well, you were with the Denver Bronco Ball Club that finished what, 1 year?
Well, we were 3-11, 1-9 when I got there. And it was one of those things. I talked to Don McCauley before the game, and he said, you know, we're going to try and get something positive out of these last 2 games. 28-7 is nothing positive, Merle.
Mosley kicks it away to Dixon of Baltimore at the 11-yard line as we start the second half. Dixon, a fine return out across the 35 to the 36, where he is brought down by Darrell Grant. And so the offensive unit of the Baltimore Colts comes on with the tackles. Jeff Hart on the right side, Wade Griffin on the left side. The guards are Ken Huff and Robert Pratt. The center is Ray Donaldson. Roger Carr and Ray Butler, the wide receivers. And this time it'll be Curtis Dickey and Randy McMillan as the running backs. Reese McCall, 86, the tight end. Splitting to the right is Carr. Going into the slot to the right, Ray Butler.
Now, the running game's really no good here, Merle, except to set him up for the pass.
Curtis Dickey hit behind the line. And a flag is dropped. And so was Curtis Dickey as Tony Peters, the strong safety, came up there to make the hit.
You know, you can take chances now. You got a 3-touchdown lead. So what if a guy slips behind you? Maybe your safety will cover up for you. And there you saw him come in, make the tackle, and stop the running play from the defensive backfield spot.
All right. Curtis Dickey going to the sideline after that pop. Zachary Dixon is coming in to replace him.
Second down.
Smart move. This is what happens. You get a little bang, and if he was leading 28-7, he'd still be in the backfield, Merle. But he gets a good pop there, and it's a good excuse to get off this field when they're down by 3.
So Zachary Dixon, who has been a caddy for Dickey, is now running back. Burt Jones getting some time. Zips it to the far side to Carr. That's picked off by Tony Peters. If he was
3-touchdown lead will do for you. You can take the chances stepping in front of the outside receiver. The Washington defense knows they have to throw the football, so they're going to take a couple chances, and he jumps right in.
And Peters got that other foot in a hurry. We've got a timeout. We've played less than a minute in the third quarter. 28-7 Washington.
Lead. You go for the receiver if the game's tied. With a 3-touchdown lead, you take a chance and step in front. Maybe you can pick it off. And he did a great job getting his feet down, staying in.
First down to the Washington 49. Walker in motion. Theismann swings it to Washington. Look at that move by Joe. A great block by Jeff Bostic. Bruce Laird finally made the tackle, and Washington should have been stopped on the 48-yard line.
What a move. Washington can stop and start on a dime. Watch this. First, it totally fakes out the linebacker. There's the move. Now watch him turn the speed on. And if Washington was maybe 2 years younger, he'd have gone all the way.
A 31-yard run by Joe Washington. First down at the 19. Joe Washington getting about 3 or 4 off his own left tackle behind Joe Jacoby. Mike Ozdowski was over there, 71, the defensive right end, who stopped the play. It'll be second down 9 after a gain of about 1. We've got an injured Redskin.
Any excitement that Mike McCormick could generate in the Baltimore Colts dressing room at halftime is going to be negated by this drive right here. And I'll tell you, if they go in here, the Colts will just take it home.
Joe Jacoby, the rookie from Louisville, he's a giant of a man at 6'7", 288, who was the blocker, is down with an injury. And we've got a timeout with 14:10 to go in the third quarter. The Redskins, who scored 21 points in the second quarter, lead it 28-7. Joe Washington just keeps going inside the 15 at the 13. Reggie Pinckney, the weak side safety, makes the tackle.
There's a bit of a fumble there, but I think they kept it with Washington.
And let's see what he's got, like a 3rd down and 3 coming up. Well, it's, I guess, that time of day as we look at scores from around the country in the NFL, start looking at the records and see who can do it.
Well, you know, Dallas and San Francisco are in. I can handle that one. But Philadelphia, Tampa Bay, if they win today, they can clinch their division, and they're in the playoffs. Minnesota's not 8-7, by the way. They're 7-8. They lost to Detroit yesterday.
Theismann going for the home run ball. He's got it. Monk is down there. A flag is down, however. Derek Hatchett, again, the victim.
They're going to call that on Baltimore. I think Hatchett shoved him when he was trying to catch the football. Take a look. 42 Derek Hatchett against 81 Art Monk. Yeah, Tunney called it against Baltimore. But you'll be able to see it. It was very, very obvious. Hatchett knows he's beaten. One of the things they teach defensive backs when you're beaten, well, try and play the receiver instead of the ball. And that's exactly what he did, hoping that maybe he could get away with it. But Monk caught the ball and negated the penalty anyway.
And the Redskins now lead it 34-7. 51 yards on 4 plays and a 13-yard touchdown pass, and Mosley is perfect again. So the Redskins move up another notch, and it's 35-7 Washington with 13 minutes and 9 seconds to play in the third period. So Theismann has thrown his second touchdown pass of the day. He's kicking off for the Redskins, who now lead by a score of 35-7. Zachary Dixon is the middleman deep. Kevin Williams also back there. And Dave Shula. This will go to Dixon on the 3. And Dixon gets out near the 25. Bob Reba on the special teams makes the tackle. So it's Baltimore's football. 23-yard return. That last drive took a minute and 29 seconds.
And the guys on the Baltimore bench are arguing about whether they're going to sit on the bus going back to Baltimore now. 35-7. Now 13-1, 1-13, 1-14, staring you in the face.
Curtis Dickey and Randy McMillan are the running backs for Burt Jones, and McMillan comes in motion. Dickey going the other way, and Curtis knocked out of bounds across the
Jets with that big important win yesterday, and it's still quite a battle.
And
there's the guys that's important for.
yes, right there. Curtis Dickey, and Dickey is out to the 38-yard line. Jarris White has to make the tackle, and Curtis has a first down. Well, Curtis Dickey has done everything he could possibly do today to get the Baltimore offense going.
You know, one thing, last week, Dallas is known to be able to stop the run. They have trouble stopping the pass, but this guy went 67 yards for a touchdown and 20 yards for a touchdown, and had an over 100 yards rushing for a team that's 1-12 at that time. He's a great running back, but it takes more than just one or two players to make a good football team in the NFL.
He got 12 yards on that last carry. First down for the Colts. It's Ray Butler in motion. Roger Carr, not too much on that one, but they do get across the 40-yard line, and Matt Mendenhall, number 2 draft choice of 1980, the defensive left end, chases Carr out of bounds, and they got short yardage on that one. Second down, 6 after a gain of 4.
You know, you look for positives for the Baltimore Colts when you're going to be 1-14. Next year, with their poor record, they'll get a first-round draft choice, maybe the number 1 pick in the whole NFL, and then look at the teams they'll get to play. Some of the last-place teams also in their division. On the other hand, Washington's going to have a rough time. They got some tough ones on theirs.
The potential schedule for next year. Randy McMillan with that burst of speed for a first down across midfield of the 48-yard line. Quentin Lowry and Rich Mullet made the tackle at the 48-yard line of Washington.
Washington isn't out of the playoffs yet, but Baltimore definitely is. But really, these two teams are looking forward to next season, Merle.
Let's go back and look at that schedule again. Potential.
Seattle, Washington, Chicago, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Houston, and Cleveland. That's for the Colts. There are a couple tough teams in there. I think the Redskins, though, are going to be the surprise team of the NFC next season.
First down on the 48-yard line. 10:48 to go in the third quarter of it. Jones zips it, and he hits Butler. Butler inside the 30 at the 28, and he is stopped there. Ray Butler, a second-year man out of USC, brought down by Mark Murphy, the free safety, number 29, and the right cornerback, Joe Lavender, number 20.
When the defense knows you're going to throw, they play a semi-prevent this early in the game. So the only place to go is across the middle. A lot of receivers in the NFL won't do that. But Butler's one of them. He's a good player out of USC. Even though I went to UCLA, I'll give him a plug. And he made a nice catch and a big gain for the Colts. They need something to remember good out of this game.
USC, UCLA. Jones, 11 out of 18, 172 yards and 1 touchdown today for the Baltimore Colts. Ray Butler in motion again. And McMillan on a slant to the 25. And Mark Murphy, who came up with his 7th interception today. He's the free safety. He made the tackle. Now coming into the ball game, going to have a couple of switches for the Washington Redskins. Mike Nelms comes in. And with a second down and 8, let's see, that puts a nickel defense on the field for the Washington Redskins.
They might be in it the rest of the day, knowing that Bert's got to throw.
Goes to the run. That's Dickey picking his way, spinning and going inside the 20. A first down, I believe, at about the 18-yard line. Monty Coleman, number 51, the linebacker, who had a 52-yard touchdown run after an interception last week against the Eagles. In there on the tackle with Lavender. They're going to measure it.
When you got the nickel backfield in, one linebacker out, you got your pass rushers in and the down lineman, it's a great time to run your running back. And really and truly, the Colts have nothing to lose by trying all kinds of fancy stuff. So you run in those situations, and Dickey will more often than not pick up a big gain.
Well, I believe they're just a shade short. Brad Dusick, as we look at Mike McCormick on the sideline, Brad Dusick, the outside linebacker, went out as the nickel defense came on. Now he's back in there. Brad Dusick, by the way, has a birthday today. 31 years old, number 59. Happy birthday to Brad Dusick, the 8-year veteran from Texas A&M, who was a tremendous athlete. He was a fullback at Texas A&M. Played with the offensive unit.
Played a little defensive halfback, too, and now he's found a home at outside linebacker. You got to run fast play out there now.
Dickey, 14 carries, 50 yards. Third down and inches for Baltimore. McMillan up over the top, gets racked up, but he should have enough to get it. Pat Ogren, the defensive tackle, who has taken over for Perry Brooks in the Washington right side of the defensive line, makes the stop. I'll take that back. Perry Brooks is in there, too. Now, do they have to go back and measure again?
Yes, I think they do.
Tim Tunney says, okay, guys, I'm going to put you on television here. Bring the sticks out. You know, the Washington Redskins have won 5, lost 8 this year, but they lost the first 5 games of the season, then won 5 out of 6. They've won 6 of the last 9.
That's what you want to do, is finish on an up note. You know,
first down, Baltimore. We have 8:42 left to play in the third quarter. Washington leading 35-7. Carr and Butler are the wideouts. That's Butler in motion. McMillan breaking a tackle. McMillan inside the 10. McMillan down to about the 6-yard line as Monty Coleman makes the stop. He got about 12 yards and a first down. And a good burst by Randy McMillan, probably the fastest fullback in the NFL. He does a 4.4 940.
That's pretty quick for a big, heavy guy. And for all you kids that want to play down in the trenches, there's a look at it. You get big stud fullbacks running at you all day, plus a big guy to block you every time. That's tough duty.
First down and goal to go for Randy McMillan and the Baltimore Colts. The ball just outside the 6-yard line of the Washington Redskins with 8 minutes and 25 seconds to go in the third quarter. Carr is wide to the left. Curtis Dickey trying to go through the middle, and he gets nailed by Matt Mendenhall, number 76, and Pete Cronin, the middle linebacker, number 54. All he got out of that was a headache.
Burt Jones got up there, looked at the formation, then checked off to the weak side, and then Washington made their defensive line shift, and Burt checked off right into the power of the defense.
We paused briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
WRC-TV, Channel 4, Washington, D.C.
Merle, Harmon, and Mike Haffner with you from RFK Stadium in Washington. The Redskins rolling. The Colts had won 15 of the 19 previous meetings. Burt Jones at quarterback trying to punch one in. Reese McCall, and he's in there. Touchdown. Monty Coleman dragged to the end zone by big Reese McCall, who scores his second touchdown of the year on a short pass from Burt Jones, who now has struck for 18 touchdown passes this year.
Watch this catch by Reese McCall. This is all hands. Had to reach out for it. That was a great catch. And a nice drive by Baltimore. When you're down 35-7, you expect them to go right in the tank. Look at the reaction afterwards. That's frustration. That's slam. He wasn't happy about scoring.
Mike Wood for the extra point try. He's got it. We're down to 7 minutes and 35 seconds to play in the third quarter, and Baltimore puts a touchdown on the board here in the third period. It's 35-14 Washington. A 76-yard drive, but the Colts took 11 plays with McCall taking the pass for 6 yards. Scored, trailing 35-14, will kick off, and Mike Wood is back there. At the 6-yard line is Nelms on the return. Nelms dragging a tackler and still on his feet. Second effort, third effort, getting the ball to the 33-yard line. Sander Shiver, the linebacker, on the kickoff coverage, making the tackle. A 27-yard return by Nelms. That last drive culminated in a 6-yard touchdown pass to McCall.
You know, the Colts right here, it's easy. There's a great picture, Merle.
Hosea Taylor, the rookie from Houston, and that
sad
is
and lonely.
frustration.
Sad and lonely at 1-14 possible.
Theismann screen to the left to C. And C has, I believe, enough for a first Smith, the linebacker, number 52, making the tackle. He got about 10.5 yards. They may have to bring the sticks on this one, but it looks like it's enough, and it is. Ed Smith, the ex-Steeler, signed as a free agent in 1980. You know, we're talking about the Redskins starting at 0-5 and are now 6 out of the last 9 in victories. Those 3 losses, by the way, in the last 9 games have been to Miami, Dallas, and Buffalo on the road.
Pretty good teams, Merle.
Straight ahead to the 46. Joe Washington brought down by Smith and Shiver, the linebackers. Now, one of the things, Mike, as we analyze this Washington team and how it's developed, has been the development of the inexperienced offensive line that opened the season and what's happened to them. And, you know, you play a few ball games, and after you get about 10 under your belt, you're not inexperienced anymore.
You know, in the first 5 games for the Redskins, they had 5 different guys in that front 5 on offense. That's tough to do.
2nd and 8. On the run, Washington. I believe he has the first down as he goes out of bounds at the 45-yard line of Baltimore. Chased out by Steve Henry, number 44, the strong safety.
It's an offensive player's dream. You got a team down 35-14. A lot of time to go in the second half. All the running backs want the ball. Give it to me. I'm going to run up my stats. The receivers say, throw it to me. I can make a lot of catches today because that defense is down.
9 yards on that one for Washington. Mike Foltz is out. Fettersfield is in for Baltimore. They switch the defense. Monk and C are wide. Play action. Theismann wants it all to Art Monk. And do we get a flag? We do not. Covered this time by Reggie Pinckney, number 37.
Home fans wanted a flag, but not when it's 35-14.
Now, what difference does it make?
Doesn't make any difference at all. They'd boo on any kind of play. Here's a look at Theismann. He had a running play before. He had the linebackers frozen, hoping Monk could get deep. What a good job there.
Isn't it something? Now, Mike is a wide receiver. You did just what Monk did. You turn around and said, that guy interfered with me.
Oh, of course. I had a lot of arguments with those back judges. I always try to get the edge.
2nd and 10. Joe Washington in the middle. Look at him pick his spot, hurdles, and gets the first down for 12. 12 yards and a first down. Bruce Laird, number 40, the strong safety, made the tackle on Joe Washington, the great All-American out of Oklahoma, who last year was with Baltimore.
And you made a great point. Here, you know, they usually say that a guy doesn't have incentive when he comes back against an old club. That's overplayed. Baloney. Every guy loves to rip off that nice run, show his style, especially against a team who traded him away.
Washington started his career with the San Diego Chargers. He's 35 yards and 11 carries in this game. That's what else he's done. Washington again. He runs so low they have trouble finding him. He's down to the 27-yard line.
You know, when he was at Oklahoma, he had T-shirts that said, "Hi, I'm Joe Washington" on the front, and on the back it said, "Bye, I'm Joe Washington" on the back.
He also, the Oklahoma wore those tearaways, and he also had one that says, "You now have a piece of Joe Washington's uniform shirt."
That's right.
7 yards on that one for Joe. Washington leading 35-14. Game was tied at 7 at the end of the first quarter, but it was 28-7 at the half. Washington. Inside to Washington, Joe again. This time he's down to the 25, short of a first down, I believe. Sanders Shiver, the number 5 draft choice for the Colts in 1976, makes the tackle.
It's become the Joe Washington show in this third quarter. We haven't seen John Riggins. Here he comes.
I was just going to say, here comes your man.
Now they got inside that 30-yard line, Merle, where the yardage gets tougher. The little scat back has more of an advantage out in the open field. When you've got lots of room to move, you can have the threat of the pass. That opens up the defense. Now they kind of bunch up down there, and you need the big fullback, and so Riggins comes in.
Riggins had touchdown runs of 8 yards and 14 yards in the second quarter. This is Riggins. Not too much this time.
First down, though.
Laird making the tackle. Fans wanted blood. They wanted it all. He got him a first down. He said, "Isn't that good enough?"
Yeah.
Riggins now with 50 yards and 7 carries.
And right out of the tailback spot, which gives Riggins an advantage. He can float and then use his power. See how he lowers the shoulder to get the first down. And they give him a big cheer coming off the field. They love him here. What contract problems, the fans say. They don't care about that.
First down, Redskins. In motion, Rick Walker. Joe Washington again getting the call and again getting yardage near the 17. Ed Smith and Sanders Shiver, the middle linebacker, the left side linebacker, bring little Joe down. Gain of 5 for Joe Washington. It'll be second down and 5. 3 minutes left to play in the third quarter. The Redskins lead 35-14.
And Joe Theismann hadn't put the ball up in the last 4 or 5 plays. Now he's got that Baltimore defense. They're saying, when's he going to throw it? And you start thinking run, and all of a sudden he hits you with a crossing pattern there in the end zone, and you didn't wake up until one play too late.
They send 2 wideouts to the right. Walker in motion the other way. Joe Washington hit behind the line. A nice play by Barry Krause, the right linebacker. And Mike, I love to see a guy like Barry Krause with that kind of effort when you're down 35-14 and facing a 14th straight loss.
He just spelled character with a capital C. That young man, you know, he should go in the tank with the rest of them, but he won't do it.
35-14 Redskins, 2 minutes, 10 seconds left to play in the third quarter. Terry Metcalf comes in for Washington. Rick Walker comes out. Washington starts the game. In fact, their primary offense now includes 2 tight ends.
And 2 wide receivers.
Right.
It's a strange start.
Theismann completes it to Virgil C., who caught his first touchdown pass today. Sanders Shivers makes the tackle.
They want him to go for it. He's short. And they're going to kick the field goal.
So, onto the field comes the field goal unit. Mark Mosley coming on. Mosley has kicked, let's see, 17 out of 28 this year. Not a spectacular year, but okay. At the 22, it'll be a 32-yard effort by Mosley.
This is a good call by Joe Gibbs. You force them to have 4 scores now instead of 3.
And the 32-yard effort is good. So the Redskins put 3 more on the board and now lead by 38-14. We've got a minute 43 left to play in the third quarter. Lead in this ball game. Some other scores coming in very big ball games. The Cincinnati Bengals are about to wrap it up in the Central Division. They lead the Pittsburgh Steelers 17-3. The minute 47. Ken Anderson's back.
Yeah, I figured he'd play against Pittsburgh. That's quite a rivalry.
Mosley on the kickoff. Zachary Dixon on the run back from his 5. Flag goes down at the 15. Darrell Grant on the special teams to make the tackle. And we've got the illegal use of the hands with a block above the waist, or it used to be a basketball term. Illegal use of the hands.
Extend their arms and push them in the back now, and they've got to explain it. I think the referees like to get on that microphone.
Last drive.
Use of the hands, number 90 on the return. After this is the goal line. First down.
All right. It was Hosea Taylor.
We saw him sitting on the bench earlier. Now here's the rookie making a mistake. And it's hard to tell. Those guys in the striped shirts are a lot closer than you and I, Merle.
Yeah, but we can call them from up here. We've got all the replays.
Right.
Our great NBC camera crew. It's an 8-yard penalty, half the distance. And the Redskins have a man down. I believe that's Alvin Garrett.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Alvin Garrett who's down. All right, talking about scores of other ball games around the NFL today, and of course the Green Bay Packers, who are just red hot.
Packing back.
Oh, are they ever? And Starr's got not only a chance to hold his job, but get an extended contract, more than 1 year even, because the Packers have had a completely second half of this season and are now going for their 6th win in the last 7 ball games. And Lynn Dickey has had a super day. Buffalo leading New England now by 19-7.
Buffalo wins that, they are in the playoffs, at least as a wild card team, and still have a chance to win the division if they beat Miami next week.
New York Giants leading the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals have been one of the hot teams in the NFL, but the Giants are leading in that one. Rob Carpenter, touchdown. Here's a big one. San Diego leading Tampa Bay 14-10.
You know, and if San Diego wins that, the Packers are still in the race for the division title.
Isn't that something? Dan Fouts has a touchdown pass today. Miami leading Kansas City by 10-7, and that's also a biggie.
Yes, Kansas City is out of the playoffs if they don't win that, and of course Miami wants to keep pace with Buffalo and the Jets.
Von Schaumann had a 39-yard field goal for the Miami lead. So Alvin Garrett,
who was at the New York Giants 3 weeks ago, there's quite a rivalry between these Giants and Redskins. You know, wouldn't that be something if the Redskins can win their last two and finish tied with the Giants? Those two teams could be a big force in deciding what happens with Philadelphia and Dallas in the years to come, whereas this league used to be doormats in this league.
The Redskins do win the last two. Their fans are going to go bananas in this area.
After losing the first 5 and finish 500, that's amazing.
At the 8-yard line, the Colts. Curtis Dickey out across the 10 to the 12. Dave Butts, a 295-pound, 9-year veteran, putting the stopper on Curtis Dickey.
A former very first pick in the NFL, Butts. Remember, he was awful at St. Louis. And then he bounced around for a while, and he got here where the old men play well. Yeah. I think George Allen started the tradition here with the older guys. Jack Pardee liked him when he was here.
By the way, the Redskins are now out from under all those draft choices.
Oh, yes. Bobby Beathard, the general manager, is going to take over now.
Second down 4 after a gain of 6. This time McMillan fighting for the first down, will be close to it. Perry Brooks, number 69, out of Southern University, an ex-New England Patriot, making the stop. You saw Brad Dusick there a moment ago, 59. Happy birthday again, Brad.
You know, one of the things about Bobby Beathard, he was famous when he was at Miami for free agents and the low-round draft choice who came on to be spectacular players. I think that was one of the reasons that Mr. Cook had him come up here and be general manager, especially without those draft choices. Now he'll get an extra added benefit to see what he can do when he's got draft choices.
19 seconds to go in the third quarter, and the clock is running, and Baltimore has a 3rd down and 1 coming up, and Burt Jones takes a timeout with 13 seconds to play in the third quarter.
That showed their frustration.
So Burt's going to the sideline. 38-14 Washington. And Mike McCormick is
shaking his head.
Yeah, Mike said, hey, you know, things are bad enough. Next Saturday, NBC Sports presents a late-night special edition of college basketball as the 7th-ranked DePaul Blue Demons meet the UCLA Bruins at Pauley Pavilion. Dick Enberg and Al McGuire will call the action starting at 11:30 Eastern Time here in the home of great college basketball, NBC Sports.
Yes, I reveled in the fact that the Bruins buried Notre Dame last Saturday on television. Worst score ever.
Yes, what happened to the Bruins like the week before?
2 years NCAA probation. One of their star players out for the first 4 games because he played in a summer league that wasn't sanctioned. Well, watch out for Larry Farmer and my Bruins. They're awful tough.
It's going to be a great basketball season on NBC Sports. Dick and Al are going to have a ball with that schedule. They've got some good ones coming up. 13 seconds to go in the third quarter. It is 3rd down and 1 for the Baltimore Colts. Ray Donaldson is up over the ball. Let's see what the Colts can do. McMillan and Dickey are the setbacks. McMillan, he's close.
First down. Old special teamer always knows when it's first down. Then you had to go in for the punt teams and everything.
And there's the end of the third quarter. So at the end of the third quarter, the score, the Washington Redskins 38 and the Baltimore Colts 14, and we'll be right back after these messages from your local station. We're in Washington. We're upstairs. And
the girls are downstairs.
Yes. Well, they have a lot of enthusiasm for this Washington Redskins football team, and so do the fans. But the fourth quarter, Mike, what would you do? You're the coach of Washington. What do you do offensively in the fourth quarter?
Give it to John Riggins for the rest of the game.
Keep it on the ground.
Yes.
Okay. Right now, Baltimore has the football, though, and Carr's wide open. And Bert Jones hit him perfectly. Mark Murphy made the tackle. First down, Baltimore at the 42-yard line.
Let me expand a little bit on that. I'm sure they'd like to blow them out 58-0, and we're going to see again Bert Jones hit his favorite guy, Roger Carr. But you get people hurt in the passing game. You don't get them hurt in the running game. Look at how wide open Carr is, and that's because Washington's playing prevent defense. They don't care, really and truly. So they're going to keep him from getting in the end zone.
It's a first down for the Baltimore Colts after a 23-yard pickup at the 42-yard line. Roger Carr splits out wide to the right, Ray Butler to the left. Randy McMillan not only showing that he has speed and tremendous speed for a fullback, but he has power. He's at the 48-yard line where Matt Mendenhall, the rookie from BYU, has to make the stop with help from Jarris White. A gain of 5, 2nd and 5.
You know how many teams in the league would like to have those two guys in the backfield? Here's a 1-13 club, and you got McMillan and Dickey. I know the Denver Broncos would take him in a minute, so would the Seattle Seahawks and a few other teams that don't have a running game. And here's a club that's just wallowing in the bottom of the league with two great young running backs.
And again, the big rumors as once again McMillan gets the handoff, but this time the Washington defense reacts, and Dexter Manley, number 72, and Brad Dusick, the linebacker, putting on a little blitz of his own there, fired through there to make the stop and throw the ball carrier for yard loss, 3rd down and 6. Now, let's see, where were we? We were talking about what the Baltimore Colts
will do.
Right. Well, Washington will do in the 4th quarter, but the Baltimore Colts in the offseason. Of course, I think almost everybody is expecting Bert Jones, who does have a great deal of marketable value, to go to another ball club in a big package deal.
Yes, because one guy is not going to turn this club around. They need 4 or 5 on defense. I'd trade maybe the first-round draft choice for 3 established players.
Jones on 3rd down. He's got power, and Carl drops the football after being hit by Jarris White. So Carr had that ball right on the 35-yard line, and White, the 8-year veteran from Hawaii, put the pop on him.
You know what happens, again, I talked earlier that Washington is playing zone defense. You don't want anybody getting behind you, get a couple quick scores, so that opens up that middle. See, there's the zone, the underneath coverage. That means Roger goes across the middle. He's wide open. The ball was thrown a little bit behind him, and he got nailed and dropped it, but he should have had that one.
Mike Garrett to kick it away for the Baltimore Colts. Garrett with a 39.6 average for the year, 34 today. He can air this one out, but he kicked it off the side of his foot. Does take a pretty good bounce. Nelms at the 18-yard line. Mike bringing it back. He's got the speed if he can get it out there. He's at the 35-yard line.
What an exciting return man he is.
And the Washington Redskins take over. We're 13 minutes and 7 seconds away from the end of the ball game. The Redskins way out in front, 38-14. What the Redskins would do on offense in the 4th quarter, and they now have possession, and we're going to find out.
Really and truly, you get people hurt more often in the passing game than you do the running game. This game is pretty well sewed up. They can run out the clock, keep people from getting hurt with one more game to go in the season.
Here we go. Joe Washington on the pitch, gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about all. Ed Smith, 52, the linebacker, coming up on that play. Help from Mike Foltz, number 72. NFC remaining games as we look at some principles here.
Buccaneers in Detroit, that's an important game. Of course, 49ers and Cowboys have clinched. The Eagles really and truly have clinched. One more win and they're in the playoffs. So the Buccaneers in Detroit next week for the NFC is the big game.
And the Bucs are trailing right now to San Diego.
14-10 San Diego.
2nd down, 10.
That means Green Bay and Detroit.
Heisman to Monk. Monk out of bounds after a first down at midfield is Reggie Pinckney, the free agent safety from East Carolina, making a stop on that one.
And that was a sensible pass. Underneath to the outside, you don't get people hurt when they run out of bounds. Those crossing patterns and the deep ones, when you force your linemen to hold them longer, make your receivers go deeper.
First down at midfield. Mike Foltz goes out of the game now for Baltimore, Joe Fetterspiel, number 50, comes in. Theismann, big day, 319 yards. Joe Washington, look at those guards pull. Look at Washington. Down across the 45 to the 43. Barry Krause, 55, the linebacker, making the tackle, and Jose Taylor.
You know, I love to watch the great running backs. Watch how Washington glides. I mean, he's not going full speed there. He knows he's got those big offensive guards out in front of him. Then he sees the hole. Then he gets that extra burst. I always tell the young players, never go full speed unless nobody's in front of you. Then you know they're all chasing you and you can go flat out. But always save that extra little burst to make the athletic move to get away from someone.
Washington with a 6-yard pickup, 53 yards for the day, second down 4. Washington, enough for a first down at the 39. Joe Fetterspiel, number 50, the middle linebacker, making the hit on Joe Washington. But for a guy that had his ribs all banged up in the Dallas ball game, he doesn't stop bothering him at all today.
As Joe says, they pay me to run away from people, not into them. You don't get hurt running in, we're running away from them.
First down inside the Baltimore 40, the Colts 38, or rather the Redskins 38, the Colts 14. Game tied at 7 at the end of the first quarter, but the Redskins scored 3 times in the second period to take a 28-7 lead, and they built it to 38. Washington, cut back, here he comes. What a move, what moves, I should say. Not one, about 3. First down to the 25-yard line. Ed Smith, 52. The linebacker has to make the tackle.
All great runners are cutback runners. That's exactly what Joe Washington did there. Cut back against the grain, use your speed. You've got the defensive players moving towards your sweep. Now watch. See, all the blue shirts are all moving his way, and then he'll cut back against the grain. And you not only use your speed, but the fact that the guy's going the other way has to stop, turn around, and chase you. And if you run a 4.5 40 like Joe Washington does, you have a tough time catching up with him.
The gain of 14 yards by Washington, 74 for the day. First down on the 25 of Baltimore. Washington again. And a flag goes down. Washington slipped as he made his cut. He still managed to get about 3 yards as Sanders Shivers, number 54, the linebacker, hit him.
You know, a great way to gauge a running back is most of them run as fast sideways as they do forward. They have that great ability just to hop like a rabbit from one place to the other. I remember when Sayers came out. He and I graduated the same year. None of us had ever heard of Sayers. He wore high-top shoes, and they called him the Kansas Comet. We didn't know anybody but Oklahoma played in the Big 8.
10 yards, still first down.
But then we went through one practice in shoes and shorts, and nobody touched him all afternoon. And then we knew who Gale Sayers was.
All right, the penalty takes the ball to the 35-yard line. It is first down and 20. Merle Harmon and Mike Haffner with you at RFK Stadium in Washington, where the Redskins lead 38-14. 50 yards in penalties now against Washington. Theismann, almost picked off by Ed Smith as he tried to loop that ball over Smith's head to Theismann. They had one blocker, or rather to Washington. Theismann tried to loop that ball over Smith, and Smith almost picked it off.
You saw a good look at Joe's eyes. He wanted that one back as soon as he threw it. Smith almost picked it off and had a clear field.
He had one blocker. He had Melvin Jones out front. I wonder if he could have made it had he intercepted. Theismann, 319 yards. I'm not putting linebackers down, but they kind of run out of steam after 40, 50 yards. 22 out of 32 for Theismann. 2 touchdowns, 319 yards. On 2nd and 20, the draw to Washington, breaking to the outside. How about Barry Krause? We talked about Krause this guy has just been busting his head all day long. Even though the Colts are down, they've lost 13 in a row, going on 14. But Barry Krause, you'd think the Colts were ahead by 38-14 the way he's been playing.
Character shows. And those are the ones the coaches look for in the films. When you're 1-13, they look for positives. And they look for those guys that don't quit, despite what the record is and what the season's been.
1 yard gain, that's all. Third down, 19 coming up. Joe Washington over the 70-yard mark for the day. 73. That's Metcalf in motion. Theismann coming back this way. Incomplete to C. Had it. Brazil was there. And C just couldn't handle the ball. Larry Brazil, 47 at the coverage. C had scored the first touchdown of the day on a pass from Theismann.
The Colts know they have to throw here, and the one thing you don't want to do is let somebody get deep. They'd beaten them already because of a mistake early. There's the zone. You see Bruce Laird move up close. Now you got the two deep men outside. Brazil makes a mistake and lets Say get right by him. And that should have been a touchdown. Those are the kind that you wish you had a bucket to put it in.
Connell is in for the punt. Ray Butler is back deep along with Dave Shula, but not expecting a return here, or what do we have? Nope. Fair catch call for. Flag is down. They hit the punter. Ball down to the 3-yard line. Number 79 of the Colts.
Randy Vanderveer.
Vanderveer came in, popped Connell, and Washington will keep the football.
When you're 1 and 13, that's exactly the kind of mistake that happens. I mean, that's just a silly play right there. He tried to break his own fall and pushed him over. That's not a roughing the kicker, it's running into the kicker. That's only a 5-yard penalty, but it's an automatic first down, and the kind of mistakes that happen when you're a losing football team.
Number 79, 5-yard first down.
So the Redskins keep the football inside the 30. A tough afternoon. Randy Vanderveer.
Jay Strinsky, our spotter, says Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong when you're 1 and 13.
Joe Washington being wrapped up by Herb Orvis, number 88. Another flag down. It's flag day from here on out, probably. Redskins 38, Colts 14. We have 8 minutes and 41 seconds to go in the game, and Washington will get hit with a penalty this time. Jay Shrinsky and Gabriel Romano have been our spotters today, our statistician Joe Band, and they've done a truly outstanding job, and we're very much appreciative of that, fellas. They're real pros. They work here every weekend.
And it's nice because NBC doesn't get into the NFC market that often, and we've been treated very nicely.
Ball taken back to the 40-yard line. The Colts, let's see, they've been penalized 3 times 23 yards. The Skins 5 times 50 yards. Look what Joe Washington has done in 4 pro seasons. Over 5,000 yards combined. He leads the Redskins in both rushing and pass receiving this year. Monk in motion. Theismann looking for Monk. Does a pump fake and takes it up the middle. Goes down to the 35, and Mike Fultz, number 72, knocks him off his feet. Theismann doesn't do as much running as he used to when he came up.
Well, he discovered his passing arm, and Joe Gibbs doesn't like running quarterbacks. He has the Coryell theory. The guy back there is very, very important. He gets enough of a beating from the pass rush.
The Green Bay Packers keep rolling, walloping New Orleans today.
You know, they'll be tied for first place if Tampa Bay loses, along with Detroit, going in the last game of the season. 3 teams.
Green Bay has a big game next week at New York against the Jets. Big one for the Jets, of course. Ball batted down by number 90, Jose Taylor. Taylor is 6'5", a rookie out of Houston, number 90.
Wait till he learns how to play this game.
No, Vanderveer, we're talking about, he got that roughing the kicker penalty. He's a rookie out of Washington, rookie mistakes.
Yep, absolutely.
3rd down, 16 for the Redskins, who lead it 38-14. The Colts got 7 in the first quarter and 7 in the third quarter. There's Randy Vanderveer, the rookie from Washington, number 79, University of Washington, that is. Theismann has his man. That's C, and C is dropped inside the 20, but he's got a first down. He's down to the 15, in fact. Bruce Laird, the veteran strong safety, makes the tackle after a 20-yard pickup.
Here's how to beat the prevent defense, Merle. There's the 3 deep in the zone, the under coverage. What you want is the pass in between all that bunch. And it's nice of him to go back to see after he dropped the touchdown pass on him. Veteran quarterbacks will do that. They know the next time you throw it to them that you're going to catch it no matter what to make up for the one you dropped. That's a smart guy to throw to, the one that's dropped one on you.
See, 7 catches, 104 yards, and a touchdown today. First down on the 15. Play action, Theismann, end zone, Bruce Laird picked it off, took it away from Metcalf, and Laird brings it back to around the 10-yard line. So Bruce Laird comes up with his 3rd interception of the year.
Toughest thing for a converted running back to learn is that when you've got a pass where there's a possibility the defensive back could pick it off, you also have to remember that you should be the defensive back then.
And so Laird brings it to the 10. The Colts have the ball, 38-14 Redskins. No doubt on a frustrating year, a 10-year career with the Baltimore Colts. He just took a touchdown away from Terry Metcalf, brought it back to the 9-yard line. Metcalf was about to score his first touchdown.
He's caught a lot of passes, but hadn't gotten in the end zone.
Butler and Carr go wide for Baltimore. Curtis Dickey, a slant off his own left tackle, brought down by Pat Ogren out of the University of Wyoming. Running behind Wade Griffin was Curtis Dickey. You know things are, I should say, running behind Griffin and Pratt, because that's the side he went to. You know things are going badly when Robert Pratt, number 61, the left guard for Baltimore, pulled a hamstring earlier this year running up with a coin toss. That's when you're having a bad year.
That's Murphy's Law over doubled.
2nd down 8. It actually happened, folks. Screen to the left side to McMillan. Let's see what he can do with it. He's got a first down out across the 25 to the 27, and Mark Murphy, the free safety, has to stop him there. So a first down for the Baltimore Colts. We've got 5:57 to go in the game. A 16-yard pickup by McMillan. 38-14 Redskins. In remaining games, this is a look. You've got to have a calculator to really figure this whole thing out. But all of these teams are still in it. And some are clinched, of course.
Well, the Steelers will be out of it today if they don't come back against Bengals. Broncos got a tough one at the end of the year at Chicago.
Burt Jones got to get hit by Fultz, but he got that ball away just in time. I beg your pardon, Manley, not Fultz. They're both 72. And Manley, Dexter Manley, the rookie out of Oklahoma, really leveled Burt Jones, who is 14 out of 23 for 217 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions today. And Jones, wow,
look at him. He's going, where did he come from?
He was hoping Mike Fultz, his own teammate at 72, would have been out there in place of Manley, 72 with the Redskins.
He just asked Wade Griffin, how come you let him come in on me like that?
Either that or where are we?
Yes. That's one thing. Prefer to avoid really getting hurt, because veteran quarterbacks have that sixth sense about a guy coming in on the back of him, but you can usually avoid it.
Dixon and McMillan, the running backs. Dixon across the 30 to the 33. Murphy and Coleman on that stop. Tough day and a tough season for Burt Jones. Many have said he's brought a lot of it on himself. 3rd down 4 coming up after a gain of 6. This man still has a lot of ability, and a lot of teams are interested in him, including the Baltimore Colts.
Craig Morton's going on 39 years old. Bert's about 10 years younger. That means he's got a long time in this league.
McCauley is now in the backfield. Passing situation, 3rd down 4. This whole second half has been a passing situation for Baltimore. Burt going to go for the first down. He's got it. Gets out of bounds in time. Pursued by Tony Peters. Dallas Hickman, number 78, the defensive right end, just didn't have the speed to cope with Burt Jones. He had him back there looking at him.
You know, it's amazing. Here's Burt Jones, who usually doesn't run the football, never been known for his scrambling. He's down 38-14, fourth quarter, 4.5 minutes to go, and he gives it a little bit extra effort to get the first down. I mean, the man has had his problems, but he's also got his qualities.
4 minutes, 30 seconds left to play in the game. The Redskins 38 and the Colts 14. Colts have a first down on the 37-yard line. Next week, the Redskins will be on the road. It's their final home game of this year, and the fans gave them a big round of applause when they came on the field for the third quarter. Jones zips it down the sideline, intended for Ray Butler. Coverage on the play by Mike Nelms. The way Jones and Butler ran that pattern, the way that Jones zipped the ball, it's either you catch it or you don't.
Or you're destroyed.
2nd and 10. The Colts entertain the New England Patriots next week in what could be Mike McCormick's last game as a head coach. But you know, even if that happens, Mike McCormick is going to be in football a long, long time if he so chooses. He is a quality man.
Yeah, again, as I said earlier, it's not all his fault.
2nd down, 10. Dixon for short yardage. At about the 40, Rich Malott, the second-year linebacker from Penn State, and Dexter Manley, the rookie out of Oklahoma, making the stop after a 5-yard pickup. 3rd down and 5. And that'll bring on the nickel defense as Lamar Parrish comes in for Washington.
One of the few times we've seen him today, giving all the guys with the clean shirts a shot in the fourth quarter.
Leaping Lamar's been ailing, an 8-time Pro Bowler. 3rd down, 5. 3 minutes, 47 seconds left of the game. The Redskins 38, the Colts 14. Butler, Burke, and Carr all out. Wide. This time, Jones has gone down just about at the line of scrimmage by Monty Coleman, number 51. It'll be 4th down and 5 for Baltimore. Dave Butts over to help out. Coleman at 230, Butts at 295. Making the stop.
Full out blitz that time. All 3 linebackers and the front 4. Jones had no chance.
None whatsoever.
Make it see a new quarterback if when Washington gets the ball back. Now they're going for it on 4th down, Merle.
Why not?
Why not? He's right.
Incomplete. Carr, the intended receiver. Lavender had the coverage. And so the Redskins take over, and now it's just a matter of the last 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Right now, a timeout. The Redskins lead 38-14. Well, there's the time, or there's the score. The time is 3 minutes and 10 seconds left to play. The Redskins making numerous substitutions now, and Tom Flick will be the new quarterback, number 12, the rookie out of Washington, Pac-10 Player of the Year last year.
And his Huskies going back to the Rose Bowl this year. Going to play against Iowa.
On NBC, and Dick Enberg and Father Murphy himself will be out there to cover that one for you.
Giaquino also in the backfield. Nick made as a free agent at Miami, and Washington picked him up on waivers.
Giaquino for about a yard, brought down by Mike Fultz. Giaquino's an interesting guy. Don Shula signed him a year ago. He had been cut, I think, one of the last cuts by the Dolphins. He was teaching school in Fort Lauderdale. And they ran out of running backs or special team men, and Don called him, and his students loved him. They really had a hero.
Our teacher's playing for the now for the Redskins, then for the Dolphins. He made it through one of those tryout camps where you just call in gas station attendants and anybody who wanted to play football. And he was the only survivor of that camp, made the Redskins because of injuries.
2nd down, 9. Giaquino again, second-year man from Connecticut. Not much more than a yard, if that much. And Ed Smith, 52, the linebacker, stopping the play. A grim Baltimore side of the field. Second, let's see. Joe Theismann, we're checking the books here as we're nearing the 2-minute mark. Theismann, 23 passes, completed out of 36, 339 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. The 339 yards is his second highest total in his career. So we have 2 minutes left to play in this one. The Redskins lead by a score of 38-14. And now, get ready. Here comes another one of those fantastic finishes. ABC's NFL football is Don Ohlmeyer. Coordinating producer, Ted Nathanson. The telecast of today's game has been produced by Peter Emerald and directed by Bucky Guntz. Our technical director, Steve Semino, associate director, Bill Goodman, and our fine NBC camera crew. Thank you, gentlemen. You've done an outstanding job today, giving us some beautiful shots. And what a joy to work with the talented people that those names that you're looking at right now.
They do it the best.
3rd down, 8. And Giaquino keeps pumping away. No whistle, and he may have I don't know if he has the first down, but he's going to be close enough that they can really give it a shot now. Steve Henry, number 44, made the tackle. I think the Colts were kind of thinking, hey, the whistle's blown, huh? Not so.
A few of the Washington guys are standing around watching him squirm, too.
You're on your own, guys. I mean, you're on your own. Now, more people who have worked so hard throughout this year and this day to bring football enjoyment to you. 1 game to go, and then the playoffs, bowl games, 3 bowl games on New Year's Day, brought to you by NBC. Starting with Fiesta Bowl, then the Rose Bowl and Orange Bowl, all on New Year's Day. 4th down and a yard. Giaquino will try it again, and he's got it. Giaquino to the 30. Ed Smith finally stops him. 1st down for Washington. 1 minute 8 seconds left to play. Redskins 38, Colts 14. The Colts, when playing the Redskins under the field generalship of Burt Jones, had never lost to the Redskins. The Colts had won 15 of the 19 meetings going into today's game. But today it's been the Redskins all the way. They're winning their 7th game in the last 10.
Credit to Joe Gibbs. He didn't fold up his 10 after 0-5.
Giaquino again, hit behind the line as Bruce Laird, the safety, strong safety on a blitz. Here comes Mike Colts up there to help out, but Bruce Laird saying, I'm going to get one more shot with 21 seconds left, and he got his shot. The clock will just run it out, and we've seen the last play of this ball game, and the Redskins win their 7th game in the last 10 that they have played, and the Baltimore Colts have now lost 14 straight after winning their opening game against New England. Everything has gone sour that could go sour, and it's been a very, very tough season for the Baltimore Colts and Mike McCormick. But Mike exits this game, as he has all the rest, with class and dignity. What a man, really. Although he has lost 14, he's something else. Once again, the final score, the Redskins 38, the Colts 14. In a moment, we'll continue to review the action of today's game. And the winner, Mike McCormick and Joe Gibbs, each having an understanding of what this thing is all about. And the final score again, 38-14, the Redskins over the Baltimore Colts.
We saw the Baltimore Colts come out, keep it even, 7-7. Then the roof caves in as John Riggins takes over really and truly in the 2nd quarter and put this game away. But there were a few standouts for Baltimore. I love the way Barry Krause played. He never quit. Bruce Laird picked one off at the end to keep the score at least halfway respectable. But the Colts are looking forward to next season, and they played that way. They've got one more game this season, but it's 1982 for the Colts. The Redskins, on the other hand, have got to be very happy with 7 out of their last 10, wins 7 out of last 10 after starting out 0-5, and that's a credit to Joe Gibbs and his staff and his players.
And what a day for Joe Theismann, 339 yards in the air, his second highest total. He passed for 2 touchdowns, ran for another. And John Riggins, as you mentioned, a great day. An 8-yard touchdown run followed by a 14-yard touchdown run in the 2nd quarter. And it was a Redskin day, 38-14.